Ang damit. En alam sa tinas.
Oké, speler praten bro.
Hij is home voor mij, man. Hij was nu lekker. André, né? Tjena.
Hier in zo papier hier. Waar is het? Van je gatte kop. Doe eens keer doen.
Kere mensen. Misschien papi is de papi moest ik ook niet rijden.
Tjus. Goed joh. Oké, maar even kort.
Maar hij is kort, bro. Deze guy is een bokkie. Hoe veel lont?
Nee, maar sowieso wel een fiets wat.
Nee.
Bro.
Nee, maar wat is het?
Ik weet niet hoe maar niet gepraat. Ik wil gewoon iets.
Het is wonderd, ja.
Rai, kijk deze wat ik doe. Ik zei dat ik zo pakken met doen de kippen.
Ja, waarom is dit wonderd?
Wat?
Nog steeds wonderd.
Ja, wat is dat? Ik heb maar kamer wordt eruit. Maar het is voor voetjes. Heb je één dag maar ziet? Wat je drank met die grind? Maar het is gewoon zo. Kijk, dus de vlees niet. Maar het is zo. Zo, hup. Ja, joh.
Maar dat is ik denk maar moet daar voor 5 minuutjes zijn die prijs omdat het dat is omdat het dat allemaal gewoon niet lijken. Mensen lijken mij ook niet op mijn lives. Brada ik kreeg beet kwaai beklezen zo. Comments zullen. Ik ga die mensen aan fixen hier. Weet je toen niet recht, hoe slecht zijn lijnen. In Engels hoe zingen. Maar hoe zie je mensen?
Nou, wat zie je?
Ik stuur me. Ik kan me, ja, als ik kan me, ja, kijk, die gaan sturen.
Maar hoe kom blog in de comments?
Ik kan niet.
Wat is zo graag?
Dat is maar deel van, ik kan niet. Ik denk dat als mensen die subscriben moet je nooit mensen zien. Als voorbijgangers.
Oh.
Zien ze.
Kijk maar. Maar ik kan niet met de comments. Ik was niet zeer alleen famous mensen.
Wie wat een Trevor nou, ik Trevor nou zo show. En hij zei dat hij toen hij die daily zou oorvat. Koor maak je man lang is dat. Toen hij daily zou oorvat, het is baie ik lees zo goed. En hij vraagt voor die young guy. Reeds, hij is een personal. Wat zo bad comments op zijn voeten. Hij vraagt, wat ik jou doen? Bij mij zo hard. Ik praat je waarom niks. Hij zei, hij heeft het maar op de trein gejumpt. Toen hij zei, ik kreeg die betere reviews. Toen jump ik maar op de trein heen. Bla bla bla, maar zie je. Zo, hij deed het actually om tijd. Is maar net, hij gezien andere mensen doen het. Zo, hij jump ook nog wat. Zeg je. But I say to that hij maakt de tekst en die man zegt van mij, hij denkt toe. En hij beseft en hij zegt van ook eruit. We maken een bit. Zoals hij moest, ik ga niet voor 3 seasons houden. Nee. Als ik meer dan 3 seasons hou, dan moet je mij voor die volgende paar seasons gaan volgen. Ik wil helemaal klaar ik zingen. Dan moet je me elke dag goed te zeggen. Zeg je. En hij zit het rechts zo. En toen raak hij nou, actually friends. Dear that. But Die moral of the story is, mensen gaan jou haat om andere mensen ook jou haat. Zien ze. Als zie je een personal ding. Als je van
als iemand zegt, nee, ga ik niet doen.
ja.
Dan zeg ik ook zo, iemand die
Ja.
dan komt die in iemand lijkt.
Of bijvoorbeeld, hallo zeg ik het slecht. Ik blame die persoon niet. Wat zo zeggen. Hij heeft al iemand gezien nou wat beter te doen. Zie je? Hij heeft al iemand, en ik is nog wel bij die persoon zijn level. Waar hij gesnit misschien niet. En ik blame het niet. Van, nou, ik te begin, ik het worst terug te doen. Als ik nou te doen. Verstaan je? Maar ik improve. So, die dingen kan je ieder opbouwen. Je kan make hem een leader, of je kan make hem een monster. Zie je? Maar ik heb die rugby spelen. Zie je? Ik heb die rugby spelen. So, die moment ik zeg, dat is gewoon slecht rugby. Kwali, midden komt op tegen iemand wat beter rugby gespeeld. Maar die kritiek van mij gaan omdat het zo zit voor hem, van hem nog zo gezet. Als je van, hij is gewoon slecht rugby, nee. Hij is wel bij goed rugby. Het is een manier. Ik is gewoon Serge in de postelen. Alles, humble. En ik denk maar nee man, die zoeken een hometown boy nee. Wie is jou humble? Zie. Maar dat is hoe je is. Sometimes is je karakter, maar net zo is. As jy waar jy try kwaai neem, my bro baie local mense het ook gesê ja, ek wil my kwaai kou. As ek is kind of introvert. Ek sê baie praterig. So die moment my in die straat gaan kry, iemand baie keer laas ek my laas dan ek ja. Jy roep my, jy sê met daar kind, met oorkant, die straat, as ek daar ken. Kyk daar, waar, ek denk myself, joh, wie is die kou? Ik groet ook maar net, zeg wat het, als we dat kennen, zien ze. Maar ik kan ook zeggen, wie zijn die? Van misschien zit dit ook meer. En ik weet dat niet. En baie mensen komen dit ook mee. En wie ken ik hulle niet als ze weer komen. Als ze weer komen, sorry, als ze komen misschien aankomen en dan vraag ik, als het eerste maal, dan zullen ze niet, ze zeggen, maar dit toch gemaakt om mij. Zo ik, nee, spandeer like 2 uur, 3 uur en kyk die titel toe. Ek het 3 uur in ons sag toe nou nie. So ek gaan meer die titel onthou as ek jou onthou. So daarom, don't feel bad.
Ja, maar gaan jy ook ander manne doen?
As hulle my vra, as ek geld nodig het, hulle vra my. Ja, hoe kom jy?
Ja, dit is nie.
Ek like het kebabs doen hè. Sien jy? Kebabs, ek kan baie dinge skeef loop op 'n kebab. Kebab is sometimes net geen sessie nie. Soos 'n one sit nie, as multiple sits. En die mense verstaan dit nie. Nou hulle gaan dink, omdat jy sê, julle moet weer terugkom, jy doen nie 'n goeie job nie. But it require multiple sessions. Van die ou inkslaan zijn is dier. Jo. Sien jy? Klas aan is dier. Nou moet jy weer oor sy daar so. Van jy moet iemand nee, onthou jy maak 'n image nou hierso nee. Waar negative space oop is. Byvoorbeeld soos kyk hoe hierso. Dikke shape nee. Maar dis negative space oop. Sien jy? Wat sê jy?
Goed te print.
Televisie? Televisie?
Nee,
Hah? Bij Quares? Wie staat? Al wie staat?
Al wie staat wat
Ja, dat is een kopje daar.
En wie zijn zo toe van ja, je toch maar zien zo. Oef. Dat kan allemaal zijn.
Printer is serieus lager. Kijk je, bij ander gemaakt. Huh? Ik print. Oh ja nee, lekker werk van man. Hij print amper zo'n 10 centimeter in. maar zo.
Dat is waar.
Ja, mensen zijn zo kwaad hoor. Het kost een beetje ja,
Dat is
ze.
een probleem. Ja.
Waar je kop niet voor?
Ja man. Hij was nog niet zo groot terug.
Oh, we staan.
Maar dan kan je nog steeds eten elkaar.
Het gaat de tijd nu aan.
Die ook gesukken.
Je gesukkel wat. Ja, ze hebben gesukkel. Maar het is wel onbekend meer geweest. Na tijd zingen, na 2, 3 zinnen, ja, dan zien ze nou oké. Iemand toont ook van de provider, leopard. Iemand ook.
Hij twee lijntjes.
Iemand ook, die zien ze maar. Ik heb eerst gesukkel zo maar. Jo, kwaai. Maar nou nee.
Maar kies dus nou niet. Je sukkel nou niet. Je vrouw ook.
De vrouw ook. Je praat different, je lijkt different. En zij kan niet verstaan hoe je het niet gezien en die begint niet. Maar nou zien ze het. Zien ze.
Die alle moeten gebrand worden.
Ja.
Die mensen komen naar je ideeën.
They come sometimes. Zij komen met jouw ideeën in. Meer. Zij komen met jouw ideeën uitbreiden. Thank God it's not Islam. Thanks, Grey Wolf. Thanks, my man. Apple, thank you. Thank you. Guys, please support me by subscribing to my channel. Double tap the screen to like this. And also send it super chat or super things to show your support. Support the living artists, the dead ones don't need it. So even if it's like $2, just on your right hand side in the corner, there's a dollar sign there. $2. That's it. $2 will get me a long way. I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. The title artist in the radio activist. Hij bij dingen en nu bij je geld maken. Daarom moet je bij je. Is het sowieso gedaan? Soundspelen dan? Een soundspelen. Voor het zo dat je niet zo moeilijk om. Als het is die zit, wat zo gevaarlijk mist. De midden is nog een kant. Dan hier ik deze checken.
Vrouw maak je maar dan moet je.
Om lang te leven, zodat ik een miljonair kan met mijn geld te genieten. Nou raak ik zo pas een miljonair.
Dan ben je maar zo goed.
Baie mij bro. Baie. En om Julius, mensen wat het gewerkt. Hij dan zo zei, ja ik krijg ook zo'n miljonair nou. Die lang ik op gooien. Dat mezelf nooit. Over 40 jaar gewerkt op mijn sporttijd. En hier sterven zijn. En zo centen heb ik bro.
Zo.
Ben je daar mee?
Slecht. Je lijkt gewoon een job naar een man.
Ben je daar? Wie is van kinders van dit ook lang gelopen te gooien? Kinders. Ben je altijd klaar voor zijn kinderen? Hoe altijd het voorkomen.
Maar hij is heel oud.
Ah, kan je niks zeggen nou niet?
die mag van
Ja. 3 months pregnant and she's keeping it.
oh ja.
So one day is one day. Nee, dat is gewoon lekker hoor. Dat is gewoon lekker langetjes.
Ik word er een paar maal jaar gekeken over.
Ik zeg hem brother. Alsjeblieft, moet niet voer naar mij toe brengen. Ik wil hem verdrijven. Met mezelf nee. Moet hij een man drijven, dus ik ga het erin krijgen. Als hij boven naar toe komt.
Maar ik wil het nog.
Moet hij, dat hij boven in dan hoor ik hem alles lukken maar.
Wat zeg je?
Of zei niet, je zei het verschonen.
Gooi je op.
Brother, ik geloof nooit, ik geloof niet, wat ik moet man om woord wat niet. Je woord wat papa.
Ja, maar hoe zeg je, hij heeft nog niet hij lijkt ook niet zo, hij lijkt zo roken, hij is zo skellen.
Hij wordt daar ook het. Hij is zang in dag dat je komt.
Ja, maar dat kan je net nog te doen. Ik krijg hem niet meer, ja, maar dat is mensen misschien niet zo maken.
Nee. Dat is ook wat teruggeven.
Ja, dat is wel maar, dat wil ik niet zo. Het lijkt het niet.
Ik heb moe, ik heb serieus kijken. En hij is serieus hele. Anyone, I get as a gangster die bra. Maar hij is, ik zijn next level gangster. Hij is zo'n gangsters nee. Kijk, wie is een gangster? Hij in plain in public, zoals een chicken shop, zoals KFC wordt nou. Maar hij is nog goed. Hij dit in KFC nee. Oor die 50 naar 200 KFC's recht oor die United States. Maar hij is nog goed.
En hij plekken.
Nee, hij plekken. Hij is die distributor van hem. Zij chicken trokken, zit 100 trokken in. Het is distributed naar alle plekken toe. Dan krijg je gangsters misschien aan zo'n zin. Hij is niet gangsters zo lang stapelen. Dat is gewoon. Maar hoe het gekomen is, hij kan belanden. Zij chommy, hij is een chommy. Ik heb gezien, die is zoals een neus cocaïne. Wat gaan die straatsplitsingen. En toen gaan we naar die draagdealer toe. En toen schiet die draagdealer, zij chommy, dood. Toen vraag ik, hoe kom je terug hier nodig? Ik heb je nodig. Pas, lang story kort. Die guy zei toen voor die nieuwe wat die sterker zo dik maakt, blauw dik. Hij zei, iedere een kan arm wees in zijn wijf. Maar het koos zo skilled en slim is om rijk te kunnen wees. En ik denk mezelf, joh, zwaar. Maar die ding is nee, als hij arm is nee, kan zij misschien veel biervrouw gaan zeker al. En aan het pad je voor brood zien. Je gaat survive, je gaat nog leven. Maar in meesten gewoon het zo bij geld en niet verslaan straks. Ik dat bij is voor geworden. Kijk je, aan de guy en die baai, nee? Hij is geconvict voor een valse crime. Hij peert als hij komt uit en hij vindt uit in mij voor 10 jaar geniet gepaniek. Hij krijgt doen. De shoe staat geen 10 miljoen rand. Hij draait tik een gaar in zijn koppen. Kijk, je gaat.
Dat is een mooi werk voor hem.
Een brand niet bij, wat is niet bij gebleven. Een brand niet bij, wat is niet mooi, real life braad. Hij braadt je niet. Hier een lijper. Hij is zo eens. Een pele. eienaar van die mall, eienaar van een shop, dan ben je boos in de mall. Kijk, met mij eienaar zien. Hij zei, maak nou op shopping. Hij wil het doen naar restaurant goed te koop. Weer de hele nacht. 10 uur na. Wil je maken? Zie je wat geld in? Als je met de telefoon rechts zit.
Ja, maar, dus, mooi. Ja, ik ben er met heel goed kijken.
Voilà, hij is dood. Hij is dood vandaag. Alles goed. Alles is klaar, papa. Doe het. Hij is dood ook zomaar. Je wordt een man dat gaat in zijn kop, in zijn brein. In zijn kop is zijn brein. Daar is het wat. Daar is het een poor mentality doen. Daarom is zin, hè, dat ik doe mij waarom. Luister, motivational speaking. Hij gaat mijn mind sterk maken als hij Maleis aankomt. Mijn mind is zwak als ze. Ik moet nou een draag opvallen. Ik heb het klaar met dat ik game en zo. Wat goed zoek naar via zo. Sino leuk Justin Bieber lang may bro. Maar. Zo zeg. Like
Kom
Arab.
met oudjes zo.
Relax.
Met de klompje.
Kolom bro. Mijn bro. Ik klomp je. Zie bij daar dealer. Om kom te lopen joh. Is Carlo te werken mee bro. Zo enige concern is dit. Zij moet net eet en slaap om te kunnen survive. En geld te krijgen voor drugs, is daar van baie van. Zij moet survive zo. Daarom bro, krijg je mandje terecht. Krijg je mandje terecht. Als je Malins, voor je Malins aankomt nog. Wanneer je Malins aankomt, nee. Als je later mandje terecht te komen, is allemaal zo'n Noorse ark. Die peren, het is geprepareerd voor die flatty. Zie je? Nou, zij prepareert zo voor wanneer je band aankomt. Daarom moet je mandje nou recht erin. Moet je een bootje bouwen. En je ziet die regenval klaar, nee. Is te laat? Preparation is key, bro. Preparation is key. En als zo vanaf, als we, ik ga niet zeggen, als het easy nee, maar mensen zo vanaf een meer raken, dus spreken. Oornacht. Je vraagt als je bij je, dat is pijn nog niet. Dat kun je vanaf dit in vraag zien. Nou, mensen nog ooit uit een skerp mindset gaat. Wat kan ik als bekomen te wat kan ik bekomen te zijn? Misschien heb je geld 5 keer zoveel gemaakt toch? Ik lijk je dan als die story van Gucci Mane, een rapper. Nee? Toen je trouwen toe gaan en toen geef je het 3 miljoen rand. $3 miljoen. En ik ga bandiet. En met die, toen ik uitkom, toen je hem zeggen voor 9 miljoen rand terug. Zien ze?
Joh,
Ja, dat is een moeilijk.
ik ga werken maar.
Ik ga naar Hassel, Boeta.
Maar dan slaap ik zo goed doen.
Ja?
Nee, maar ik wil slaap ook niet.
Ja, dat is gepaard weer het slapen.
Nee, maar het is slaap.
Snorslaap.
Joh, voel hij me niet nou?
Carmen, itu kan geslagen zo. Wat? Facebook.
Wat is het nou, man?
Carmen. Je gezegd gisteren slapen naar het. Ja. Zit ik gewoon slapen. Ik word het.
Oh man, ik voel het niet.
Bobby kan geslapen zo.
Ja, maar die shit om de hand, man.
Ja, hij deed de Janne gekomen.
Dan moet je hem wakker maken, je klaar is.
Ja, maak het weer wakker.
Ja, maar die naam zo wordt het niet doen, man.
Nee, hij beweegt je man. Dat is nice.
Oh.
Hello Monrey. Money. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing today? Tell me where are you guys are watching me from? $2 guys, $2. That's all it takes to support the living artists. Please send a super chat. Please send super chat and super thanks guys. Also if you want to join my membership for exclusive content. Currently busy with a fire truck for a firefighter. This guy I'm doing is a firefighter. Salute to all the firefighters out there putting their lives at risk for our safety, to help us in times of need. We salute you, Curtis. We salute you.
Curry Jackson. Let's do what you want.
Wie?
Ja.
Ja, Curry. Heel wel. Hello, gaan we joh? Kan ik klaar? Hebben we niet gehoord zo niet man? Zien hoor, ik heb bij ben ook omlaag hoor. Ik ben ook omlaag. Ik heb niet een compliment toe man. Ini main tu. Paper towels. Paper bawang tu. Alsjeblieft hoor. Dank je. Hoe zijn wij benen wel? Terserah. Mau dilihat?
Menanti.
Ya.
Langsung dari itu kita harus lanjut.
Bukan status dari aja.
Memang sekali. Seperti aku, idea aku dari bahasa aku ini. Ada ulik kan upload.
Mas orang praktik dari sini mau makan so.
Oke? Oh, what?
Sekarang mau soalnya kursi, itu dia mau soalnya kursi ni berang.
Iya, sungguh.
Ya, ulik pun upload. Dia berakhir.
Dia mana betul? Ini empat bagi yang dan.
Sama ulik upload berada, rare. Wie zijn daar was de eerste mannen geweest waar ze geld te geven. Eerste peren. Joh, toen hij geld maken, hoe weet ik kan geld maken. Toen weet ik kan geld maken.
Vai dar techno. Então gosta de ser o bom. O bom mano que tem aí. Mas o como mano sobre o arto.
Dat is ook van de.
Waar?
Huh? Nee man, de baas spoed praat nog.
Ja, waar we zijn hier goed. Ja, dat is het. Maar dit is goed.
Skop.
Kaarten. Dus ik denk. Ik denk nog op zo'n goed man. Als ik gewoon zeg, man, er is hier gemaakt de flyer. Man. Ja, specialist. En dan niet goed een tikken, zie je. Maar handling. En dan zie je. Ja, dat is nou niet meer.
Nee?
Nooit. Als je nou eens met 3 droppels gaat doen. En dan blijf je maar boer uit de naam zo zien. Dat is niet klein. En dan laat ik. Maar die dikke film hier bro. Alles waar je maar is het te laten.
Dat is
waar. Die laatst jaar, wat ze van je willen. Maak nou maar social media internet. Onze eigen mensen.
Huh?
Ja. In een groep, supportgroep. En ja, iets in worry. Mensen, broek, ik ben niet bij mensen. Het is een goede klap weer.
Oh, dit betaan. Dat is perfect.
Ja, maar ik nog eens een keer. Ik zou eens een keer en dan kom ik dus door. Ze hebben allemaal precies hetzelfde.
Ja.
En hij man, hij is niet goed, maar hij zal niet nog komen. Hij is gewoon heel goed.
Ja, dat oude moet doen, maar dat is het beste. Wat? Je gaat hoe ziek maken, mijn broer. Je gaat goed houden. Je gaat hoe ziek maken, dat is zo.
Dat zou ik zeggen.
Om wat te maken?
Ja.
Om je te laten beter voor. Maar ga net zo niet. Net zo niet, brada.
Ja, maar als je er met mensen over praten.
Dat is serieus. Maar iemand moet het doen.
Ja, dat is wel maar.
Iemand raden, ik zou raden, strijdingsverkiezen moeten doen. Maar nu aan je mensen.
Maar ik wil eens een ander ook. Ik vind het heel leuk.
Ja. Je moet gewoon beide kanten hebben ervaren.
Maar weet je wat, ik zeg je, onze mensen bedekken. Ons was zo 4 jaar aan het doen. Zo? Ik heb ook gewoon win. Ik wil je aan goed horen.
Ja.
Die moment toen ze aan het verloren.
Weet je wat jullie doen, man? Wat? Zit je lekker bij mij, ik zie. Als je feit dat jullie stellen, is jullie verloren ook. Pauze heeft jullie verloren ook.
Ons poos was verloren.
Jullie pauze heeft
Ons
verloren.
poos, ja.
Oké, jullie support pauze kunnen.
Onze media base mensen.
Oké, jullie supporters pauze kunnen van.
Ik poos verloren.
Hoe kom je brother? Zijn
Maar ik dacht, we zijn het afvlak.
Ja, zeg iets als mensen dat ook zien, bro. Mensen zijn niet goede Senegal. Dat is slecht nog zien. Weet je wanneer skip ik moet een groot miljonair of biljonair nee. Als je zijn successtories, als je failingstories bro, om te mij te kan wijzen dat zij is ook mens, zo zij nou goed maken. Zie je? En skip ik moet ook eruit, zo die failings van mij, je zal komen te paas toe. Zie je? Het gaat niet voorbij gaan. Dan heb ik moet hoe je een biljoen gaan maken of een miljoen. Zeg mij die tijden van als je opgegeven bent waarom man. Zo wanneer als ik te ervaren in mijn leven, dan weet ik dat hij me zo gevoel. Zie je? Waar ik dan is, soms motiveren mensen leven zo ne, zonder dat hulle weet. Dit om het te leren drukken. Zoals in feite, mijn neef Alistair, hij was verloren geweest. Nee? Aan een dame. Babbels, ja. Verloren geweest. En toen sterven hij meisje kind in de kar omgelopen. En in de heilige zeggen, joh bra, hij is mee geweest. Hoe is het survive? Hoe is het mee is het survive, man? Zie je?
Maar hij wordt hem lang geplauwd.
Hij moet mee, bro. Dank u, kom maar veel kwaai hoor. Ik zei, breng jullie moeder van mij. Ja, sowieso, ik zei dat, joh. Maar dat is stress, ja. Hoe is het?
Ik kan ook even weer doen.
Waarom doe je het?
Het is een beetje mee op te leggen.
Kom op, sterk is onder hem.
Huh?
Sterk is onder hem.
Ja man, joh. Wat is het? Zo. Oh. Damn.
Nog binnen.
Huh?
Nog kussen.
Ja, we doen nog een kussen.
Wat is je nou gedaan?
Ja, wat is dat doen? Ja, joh.
Ja, dat is wel goed doen.
Wat zei je?
Ja, ik wil doen. Kijk, je wil niet zo aan de hoogte doen. Dat is zo maken. Waar is het te zien? Is dat klaar? Dat is goed. Kom mee. Oei. Ja, nee.
Wat bedoel je nou?
Ik er nog wel niet voor.
Je moet kiezen. Ja, ver beter. Weet je, man wil eerst een zwaar krijgen.
Ja. Het moet niet makkelijk komen. Ik vind het waarderen.
Ja, man, ik heb niks makkelijk. Is niks makkelijk. Het is wat meer of de erfproporties.
Dat fly zo goed. Want je ziet er gewerkt voor je. Ja man, gratis. Nee man, bro man. Chicken too. Yes, it hurts. But you must be brave. You mustn't be a chicken. Ik weet ja, maak me uit weer. Ja, maar dank je wel. We zijn nu omgekeerd nu. Zo, challenge.
Between us, if you brought Simon Sinek into your company, and you said, Simon, what is going wrong with this company, and what, then Simon Sinek would try and help you to make the company better.
Right.
If you brought Trevor Noah into your company and said, yo, what's happening? There's a chance that I would say, you need to shut this place down. Just shut it all down. You should fire yourself, and you people should ask yourself why you work there, and everyone should go home. That might be my solution.
I mean, that's a contribution.
Yes, but what I mean is like, I feel like
you bring order, Trevor brings chaos.
This is What Now with Trevor Noah. Is that it? Thank you.
So where are you
That's
based?
amazing. Here.
Oh, you're based in
Thanks.
LA?
Yeah. I'm
Nice.
a New Yorker, but I'm here now.
What brought you here? I'm trying to get Trevor to move here, he refuses to.
Well, I mean, he's smart.
No, don't say that.
No,
Wake up.
my sister and her family moved here in the middle of 2019. My sister and I are very close, and we work together. And so, to help her ease into living in LA, I got a place here and started doing the bi-coastal thing. But COVID was kind of a magical gift. My niece and nephew were kids that I used to see, a couple times a month when I drive up to the suburbs and spend a few hours at their house. And then when we went into lockdown, we were having family dinner every single night.
So you're a real uncle guy.
Yeah. I got very, very close with these kids, and I love living in LA for them. And when they're not here, I'm very bored.
You do a lot of work in and around helping people connect. But oftentimes people will think of you as the guy who helps people connect in like an official setting, like a company and an institution and whatever. But is there anything you can help people, like literally what Christiana said, how do siblings become closer, or how do they stay friends? Or how do they even make a friend? Because people assume you'll be friends with your siblings.
Right.
But a lot of siblings hate each
Also,
other.
like, he's he's like an uncle dad. He's helping raise.
For sure, the third parent.
Which is like,
For sure.
I would love that. Do you know what I mean?
I think, and I'm actually, it's funny you say that. People are very surprised by how close my sister and I are. They say, you know, what's it like working with your sister? Is that okay? As if it's some sort of disaster.
Yeah.
And for them, I think they feel it would be. And I don't want to work with anybody else but my sister. And she and I talk 1,000 times a day, and we bounce between work and personal stuff.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I don't know if there's a formula. I think one of the things that made us close is we grew up living all over the world.
So you were your only contact.
So we were the only.
No, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
We were the only common friends. The other.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So I need to move my kids around.
You do actually. You need to make them their only connection to each other.
Yeah, we want to do a London stint, definitely.
Yeah.
But then we haven't chosen the place after that.
Do your kids already have the American accent?
Odie sounds like Peppa Pig when he's speaking to me.
Oh, that's fine.
And he sounds like California when he's speaking to everyone else.
So he's on the cusp.
habla inglés. My daughter does not speak English.
How old are your kids? How old are your kids?
My son is 4, my daughter's 18 months. And I'm like, Luna, Trump's America. You need to learn something.
Well, there's a, if you care about this stuff.
Yeah. I do.
So, I'm bilingual.
Okay,
I
what
speak English
language?
and American.
Okay. Which are very different languages, by the way.
100%. So you know, like kids who have French parents, you know, they'll like just start speaking French to their parents. They go English, French. Well, I do that. Like when I talk to my parents, when I talk to my friends in England, I have an English accent. I use English vocabulary. When I talk to my American friends, I speak American. So I bounce between the two. My sister's 100% American. Can't even fake an English accent.
That's so interesting.
They found these feral kids in India. And they found that there's a critical age for language. If they brought the kids back into society between the ages of 8 to 10, they could learn syntax and language, and they could be fully integrated back into society. But if it was later than that, the kids could only do like when you see like chimps learning to speak, it's like word association, like banana, hungry. You know, they couldn't learn syntax. And so I think it also applies to accents. My sister was younger when we came to America. Fully American, where I was sort of on that cusp.
Yeah.
And so I had an English accent living here for years before I kind of lost it, but I'm still bilingual.
We have 3 languages in our house.
Yeah.
So English, Spanish, and Igbo. Igbo is an indigenous language from southeast Nigeria. So we're always using different words, but my daughter, her English is really, she just doesn't have many. She knows like pizza, which is an Italian word, right?
So she knows 4 languages.
Yeah, but like my daughter, like, and it's hard. Yesterday, she was crying about something. She was like, she's like, este, which is like Spanish for this.
Yeah.
And I was like to my husband, speak to her. I don't know what's going on here. So it's like this interesting thing where like each child is being drawn to their own culture because there's no like real common culture of the house. I often think about like when they grow up, I'm like, are they going to be close? Are they going to get? No, you figured it out.
Just move them around. Actually, wait. So let me ask you. So one of my favorite things, just to give people a bit of context, Simon and I have, I don't know how long we've known each other for now.
Probably 3 years.
Yeah, somewhere there.
2 or 3 years.
But my favorite thing about you by far is that I just throw puzzles at you. I just go, here's a puzzle, what do you think? And then you'll throw some at me and then we'll go back and forth. And what I love about you, that most people like about you in the world, is like how your brain works and how you're able to synthesize information that sort of gives us an understanding of something that maybe we didn't understand.
I'll describe you the same way, you know that.
Yeah, but I'm not formal with it. And like, my thing is, no, what I mean by this is like,
I'm not an academic.
No, what I'm trying to say is like, I'm not always trying to help people. I think there's a difference. Well, I wouldn't distill me like that.
Chaos.
I don't think that's fair.
No,
I don't think I'm pure chaos.
I mean, the thing that we enjoy about each other when we talk is we both enjoy chaos and finding the patterns in chaos.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's what creativity is. I think creativity is the ability to find order in chaos. And I love chaos. Because chaos is where all the magic happens. Otherwise, everything's linear.
But I think he creates the chaos. That's just different. I think he like he'll bring it.
Unbelievable.
So
maybe you seek it out. He's bringing it.
Maybe he makes the chaos so that he can find the order.
Perhaps
I resent all of these comments. But either way, I'm happy to have you here before I get into like my stuff, I wanted to know, is there a puzzle you're trying to solve right now that we can help you with?
So, I mean, the simple answer is yes. I am absolutely fascinated by the world order. This is not something we're going to solve in a podcast.
No, we will.
But-
We've got like 50-something odd minutes.
Perfect. So I
Most world orders I can solve in 30.
So I find the world order just absolutely fascinating. You know, and trying to understand how we got here as well. You know, where we went from the Cold War 1.0, where it was very neat. It was very neatly organized.
Yeah.
You had democracy and capitalists on one side, and communists on the other side. And it was very clearly delineated that if you were a communist, we weren't your friends.
Mhm.
That was it.
Mhm.
All the communists were on one team, and all the democracies and capitalists are those who aspire to be on the other team. Play. It was very, very simple. And both were reasonably rational and played by very similar rules. Well, that doesn't exist anymore. And we now have ideologies mixed together. Our adversaries are also our trading partners. It's a complete mess and continues to get messier. And I'm absolutely fascinated by how our leaders don't really understand the world that we're operating in and how we got here, and yet they're attempting to make decisions to manage it or lead it.
So this is great because
Only the listeners are tuned in for this.
no, this is great. This is why people listen. Trust me, this is why people listen because I feel like to give people a little more context. You know, like you blew up on the scene many years ago. And I think you've had like multiple moments that have really put you into the zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I think has separated you from many people is that you're seen as somebody who is inspirational and thought-provoking and really a modern-day philosopher in how we see the world. But then you're also seen like that by institutions in some ways. You know, like so you'll get brought in to speak to like military leaders or personnel, and you know you'll get brought in to speaking to like parts of government or companies. They'll go like, Simon, we need you to come in. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to expose anybody here. And I'll tell you what I think about it now. I'd love to know your opinion on it. In my time, traveling around the world and spending a lot of time with leaders in America, not political, by the way, just across the board, people who have power over other people in any way, shape, or form, I have been shocked at how much people who are in charge of shit do not know what is going on. And I'm going to repeat this a little bit slower because it shocked me when I came to the realization. Most of the people, many even of the people, let's not say most, many of the people who are in charge of companies, of institutions, of like, you know, states, they do not know what is going on. Yeah, it's an amateur point of view because I don't work like with them. So you're the person who works with them. I want to know like the people who are running the world.
Yeah.
Do they know what they're doing?
I think your assessment is pretty spot on. And
Damn, we're in
you know,
trouble.
but like when I work with government or I work with military, like I'm constantly amazed at how much they know and simultaneously amazed at how little they know.
Huh.
And that's true for government and military. Like those things live in this strange paradox.
Yeah.
And it's constantly amazing to me how good they are and how bad they are simultaneously. There are multiple reasons for that. One is, and it's the same in the corporate world, which is how we promote. You know, there are tactical people and there are strategic people. Nobody's purely one or the other, okay? You know, tactical people sort of know how things done, they're in the weeds, they can see the details, and the strategic people live more blue sky, can see sort of far off horizons. You know, the best strategic people aren't the best at tactics, and the best tactical people aren't the good at strategy. What I found is fascinating, especially when you get to the higher echelons of government and military, which is the really great strategic thinkers know that they are bad at tactical thinking and surround themselves with good tactical thinkers.
Okay.
The really great tactical thinkers who find themselves in higher level positions think they're great at strategy.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay?
So strategic people are more likely, in your opinion, to know that they aren't great at the tactics.
Correct.
But tactical people are less likely to know
They think they're great at strategy.
They think they're great
And
at
they don't
strategy.
even understand it. Think of it like marketing. Marketing's a little more ethereal, it's a little more, you know,
Yeah.
blue skyish. Finance, a little more detailed, a little more in the weeds, right? Marketers know that they're bad at finance. Finance people think they're good marketers.
Okay.
Where marketing people are like, I don't know, I should probably get somebody in finance to look at that, I don't understand. Right? And so what ends up happening is The tactical people, if they get promoted into strategic jobs, they think they understand it.
Yeah.
But they don't. And it's not that they don't understand, it's that their view is just too shallow. They're operating only with what they can see. And they're not very good at making decisions based on what they can see or very long term. They don't understand, like, if you pull lever A, then these things might happen. They just like, pull lever A, get this. And you're like, yes, and this will be the response to that. There's not that way of thinking. And I think strategy in general is one of those very misunderstood things. It's hard, it's amorphous, and it's sort of in the cloud. But you're 100% right. I think that would be my assessment too. It's amazing that the decisions are being made by people who don't fully understand the nuance. And simultaneously, there are people there whose minds will blow you away how much they understand and how smart they are and how they understand nuance better than...
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
The duality that's so confusing.
I think we've all worked in places where we've been like, my boss is an idiot, right?
Yeah.
And so for the person who's...
But that wasn't you at the Daily Show, right?
No, I was like, my boss is this smart South African.
Okay,
It was
all right.
so brilliant.
Because I don't know many places you've worked. I'm just trying to narrow down.
Why?
That's an interesting... We've all worked in places... Wow, that was a... But I actually think Christiana does think, or did think that maybe...
I didn't think you were an idiot.
Okay.
Do you think of yourself as an idiot? I actually do, because I think of myself.
No,
Actually,
I don't think
and I mean this honestly.
I constantly disagreed with him. I still disagree, but back then
Which
I was
is-
like,
which
this guy,
means I'm an
idiot,
I was like,
which makes
this
it
is
great
very-
entertainment.
I was like, this is basically... He's bad! And he thought the same of me, so I thought he was, I always thought, Trevor's brilliant. So it wasn't that I thought he was an idiot.
Brilliant and an idiot.
Brilliant idiot, maybe.
I actually do think that. No, I do.
But I'd say that we've all worked in places where the really smart person or the person that has the insight, whether it's strategically or tactically, is kind of like stuck in middle management and for whatever reason isn't able to maneuver to be in a position where they're like the boss, right?
Yeah.
What would you advise that person? Because I know I have tons of friends like that, and I'm like, they're just stuck at this place in their career, and their complaint is, my boss doesn't know what they're doing, the VP doesn't know what they're doing, the COO doesn't know what they're doing. And it seems like across the world, we just have this class of middle management who can't really make decisions. But for some reason, there's something about them intrinsically that they're not able to do
How
the
do they stage a coup is what you're asking.
Not stage a coup, but I'm saying that the people at the top are really good at,
I'm
Trump
with you.
is great at knowing how to get to the top. Whatever you think about him, he's one of these guys, he could go anywhere and end up at the top.
Yeah.
And he knows nothing. I think that's a talent. Whereas
Well, he knows something.
He knows something, but then the people that have all the acumen, as you're saying, have the expertise, have the vision,
Right.
seem to be stuck and they can't transform.
That's
the
such
organization.
a layered question. So this is the most common question I get, by the way. I'm in middle management. By the way, middle management is the most difficult job in the world because you have to be tactical and strategic.
Because you're going down and up.
You're going down and up. You have to do a job and also lead others doing the job. You're in a position where you have had not a lot of practice leading as well, so you're learning on the job.
You also absorb all the anger of the people beneath you. You
you're-
can't reach the CEO.
and the anger above you
Yeah.
when they're frustrated with the people.
Yeah.
And it's the worst place. And that's where most things die. Which is, I've gone to companies with senior leadership's incredible, they're wonderful, people focused, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to the front lines and you're like, this is an awful place. Something happens in the
Thank
middle.
you so much,
There's a
Zion.
class of
All
people
good, I
who are
mean, you.
the angry smart people who are angry. And by the way, I think they hate people like me and Trevor too. Well, I speak for me. There's this angry smart person who are absolutely smarter than the people above them. But what they don't understand is that intelligence alone, and book smarts is not the thing that puts you in a leadership position. Understanding people, understanding politics, understanding how to navigate, having EQ, these are necessary skills as well. And when they compare intelligence to intelligence, they'll always come up higher.
I know loads of people like that.
Right. And in those cases, it's like the only common factor in all of their frustration with all the people they've worked for is them.
Yeah.
So either everyone's an idiot, or maybe there's a skill set that those people who are advancing or mastering that they're ignoring. It's also the incentive structures. Most organizations tend to overemphasize performance, results, above leadership capacity. Doing the job and leading others who do the job are not the same thing. You can be a great salesperson. That doesn't make you a great sales manager. But we tend to promote great salespeople into the position of sales manager, where you lead people who do the job you used to do. Different skill sets. And so we don't promote very well. And so that's another reason, which these people may be better leaders, but they're being overlooked because of what the incentive structure is inside the organization. And then ultimately, the incentive structure is above them as well, which is the senior leaders are incentivized not to make the company better, at least in a public company. They're incentivized to make the stock price better.
Yeah.
And so they're going to promote the people who do that. And the focus shouldn't be on the boss. You can't control people you can't control. Like, no number of anonymously sent books to your boss will change the way that they read. Although I urge people to keep trying.
Well, you're like,
Keep trying. It's not going to work, but keep trying. My advice is always the same, which is worry about the things you can control. Be the leader you wish you had, right? And so, how do you help the people for whom you're responsible? How do you help them rise? How do you help them build confidence? How do you help them build the skill sets? So the people to the left of you, to the right of you, even the person above you, that's a human being too, and we don't know the stresses that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And to have empathy for your boss who might have just yelled at you, to go into their office afterwards and say, are you okay? And truly become the leader you wish you had. Because what I've learned is, especially if you adopt an infinite mindset, which is if you let go of that things have to happen by a certain time, what will happen is that influence, that'll be a really well-led group. And generally their performance will go up because they're well-led. And senior management will either just leave them alone because the numbers are good, or if they're curious, they'll say, what are you doing? And what will end up happening is one of those people will get promoted out. They'll take everything they've learned from that great leader, and that will infect another group. And before you know it, the tail wags the dog.
That's interesting. Now we're like into kind of this workplace dynamic space. Could you tell the audience more about your view on gossip? Because I come on the other side of it. And I don't like the word gossip. I think we should call it oral history, because that's what it is. Oral history in real time. In real time.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I come from a line of griots. I'm West African.
But
It's like, what's
but
falling
wait,
apart?
yeah, but how do you define gossip then?
So like, I think gossip is really important for protecting the tribe. It's how we...
No, but how do you define gossip?
What
Like,
do you
what I mean is like, okay, for me, when I hear gossip, I go, gossip is a story about something or someone from my perspective that is salacious in some way, shape, or form, but it isn't necessarily the same as history, because history is a thing that happened, and look, everyone's going to be biased, but I always feel like telling a story involves like a little, I think it's two things, okay, so the main one is trying to be impartial. You don't gossip about the history of your people, you just tell the story of it, right? That's what I think of with like the griots.
But history and gossip is interchangeable.
No, I'm with you in some ways.
Yeah.
And then the second one for me, and this is a big one, is I don't think people ever need to whisper about histories. Like, I mean amongst, like, do you get what I'm saying? That's what I always think like a gossip for me is. This is my personal, is like if you ever need to like look before you say the thing, I think that's more gossip than history. Like I never need to say to you like, if you go like, Christiana, tell me about your family, and then I go like, well, my mom started working when she was... That to me is not gossip.
But you know what, history, because we're on the other side of it, at the time when they were burning all those witches, they were like,
but that's because there's an immediate danger as opposed to like a shaming that's going to come.
I think gossip is frowned upon because women do it.
I think everybody does.
But women do it really well. Men, you know what? My closest male friends are great gossip. Again, oral historians. So they'll be like.
But oral history is a recounting.
Yeah.
Where gossip is laced with judgment.
I mean, history is laced with judgment. Like there is no neutral. There's no neutral history.
Let's bring it down a few thousand years, right? Which is so I think venting is important.
Okay.
So you leave work that day, you pick up the phone, you're like, and you just get it out, you say all the stupid things, and you just need to get it out. It's a venting, right?
I think that's good.
I think venting is very helpful.
Okay, venting is helpful.
It's like any tension in any relationship. Sometimes you just need to say it, and then you're fine.
Okay.
So I think venting at work is very important.
And I'm on the other side, like as a black woman, I never vent at work.
Okay, well, but let's see. You can vent about work to other people.
Okay, go on.
I mean, or you can vent at work about your husband. I mean, like, you vent about your kids.
So venting, so the most important thing for you is releasing the exhaust gases. That's essentially what you're saying.
That's all. It
doesn't matter where you're doing it.
I mean, I think you have to have.
So you can vent about work at home, and you can vent about home at work.
And you have to have emotional professionalism. You know, you can't vent about your boss to somebody who works for you, because your voice carries Canada's influence.
Okay.
Right, and then you're going to start muddying the waters. But you can vent to somebody you're friends with at work, and they know you're just venting, and it doesn't affect their.
And before you move on, why is venting good?
Because I think it releases tension. Because I think if you keep the tension in, it builds, and you start forming a narrative about a person that they're dumb or stupid, and you start hating them that way.
Oh.
A business network is world. It doesn't care about borders. My signal shouldn't either. Late World Perfection. New 2 for Deals. Now available in store.
Hot selling. Alibaba.com, a leading B2B e-commerce platform for global trading.
Oh, okay.
So gossip, I think, is perpetuating narratives that may or may not be true.
Can I tell you what office gossip normally, someone who's worked in a local office, it's normally done in a group chat,
Yeah.
and it's like,
That's
this is what office gossip is. It's, you know, the Christmas party. So-and-so hooked up with so-and-so. Really? They did. Oh, there are no more sausage rolls because so-and-so took more sausage rolls. That's what office gossip is. It's just a litmus test of the culture and the happenings all the time. I'm telling you, from the group chat.
But I think
then sometimes it slides into, you know, she did this today. Oh, that's so annoying. But the way gossip works, and there's enough factions in the office, it's really hard to completely change the perception of one person.
yeah.
I have not found a situation, and if everyone
gossip-
hates you, there's good reason.
Gossip can destroy a culture.
It can, but it's also
Don't-
like, don't go into that guy's office because he's very handsy-pansy. Like, I'm like, because there's been research on gossip.
Wait, but is that, okay, wait.
That's
That sounds like a warning to
That's
me versus
that's
gossip.
not
It is gossip. I mean, it's not journalism.
Wait, okay.
Gossip is but
That's helpful.
but I think when you start spreading ideas about a person
Yeah.
that are unresearched, unverified, or that you wouldn't say to that person, it can be very dangerous. I know a company that gossip is a firing offense because it's so destructive. And when they think about gossip, they're talking about spreading rumors about a person, even if you think it's true.
And can I tell you something about, I bet you about that company?
Yeah.
They protect a lot of men.
Oh, this is
It's a-
interesting.
it's a-
Because I think gossip's a crucial
It's
social
a
language.
it's a very female.
If we say no gossip, I think it insulates poor leadership. I think it insulates bullies, because there are
But wait,
always these managers
that's
who
what-
are
that's
bullies,
what I'm
and you
still trying to
can't
get
share
to.
your experience without it being labeled gossip. So it's just like, how do I share?
This is very interesting. I think we need another word here because I think
I have oral history.
I don't know if that's the right word. I think we need another word here because I think you and I are talking about different things.
Okay.
Because I agree with you, and I wouldn't classify that stuff as gossip.
But some people would. Some
Yeah.
people would say, well, that's gossip. You weren't there. You can't prove that he looked at her a certain way. You can't
This
prove
is
that
why
he was bullied.
offices.
But by the way, gossip spreads much quicker and easier in virtual. Like when you're in an office and you interact with people, and somebody's really nice.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, always says hi, and somebody goes, that person is like the worst person in the world to work with,
Yeah.
and they're really nice. But when we're separated from each other, what I've found is that false narratives about somebody swirl way quicker.
The difference though is like with gossip versus, like, let's say an office.
I love how
understand.
we're all having a conversation about the office, like from our corporate jobs.
Yeah, but we've all been in office.
I've worked a ton of different jobs.
I want to know the jobs you had in an office.
Unsuccessfully, I worked. I worked as like a, what do you call them, clerks? Sometimes where the person's job is just like get the papers and
Yeah, mailroom type.
Yeah, like that. I've done that. I worked in an office because I was a meter reader. You know, like reading electricity and water meters.
Was ik een
Then you'd
meter
be in
reader?
the office with the
Hoor je?
people.
Can I read your meter, please?
Yeah,
Dat is
that
net
type
een
of thing.
miljonair.
That's working in an office. That's
Het zeker is
going
een
to an
papier.
office and then leaving.
Well, what is the difference between? I know the Daily Show was an office for how many years? So what you're saying is funny. We're talking about offices. I think most people, if I was to bet, most people listening to this podcast work in an office.
Yeah.
Most people in
Most people live and work in an
in the
office.
developed
Yeah.
world work in an office.
Yeah.
It's like the thing.
I understand the idea behind, like, let's eliminate gossip. that's not going to eliminate like the nastiness of office politics and how human beings behave.
Actually,
and I think
do you have a-
gossip
yeah,
can be a great pressure release.
We did this in our company because I was very public about it with the whole team, which is I said from now on, when somebody says something about someone's intention or labels their character, it is everyone's responsibility in that meeting to interrupt that train of thought and raise a question. So, for example, that guy's so lazy, right? Oh my God, he's so lazy. All that's needed is for anybody in the room to say, could be lazy, or could be stressed, or has some stuff going on at home, or we put them in a job they don't know how to do it, and so they're freaking out. Like, to just add to a list of other possibilities that it could be that's getting the results that we're getting. Lazy's absolutely on the list. And it's just giving people grace that we're not judging why they're performing the way they are or why they are the way they are. You know? So, like, I'll give you another example. I went for a walk with a friend of mine. She wanted some advice. And the conversation started like this. My boss is a horrible person. And I immediately interrupted and said, oh my God, does she kick her dog and abuse her children? She said, no. I said, okay, so we don't know that she's a horrible person. We know that she's a horrible boss. Those are two very, very different things. And I think that's the problem. When we label someone's behavior or skill set versus labeling their character, when we label their character, it's insidious and dangerous, and that's when it gets toxic.
We're going to continue this conversation right after this short break. You know, when I'm listening to this, I can't help but wonder if we always talk about companies as if they're these isolated spaces, but it feels like you live in a world where you're constantly exposed to the petri dishes of society. Because what is a company if not a manufactured community? It's a collection of people, right? It's a collection of people.
Modern tribe.
There you go. And so these are the people you, because of, let's say, your job, maybe you chose, but you sort of didn't choose them because you are the person hiring all of them and you are the person. So in many ways, it is like a tribe, it is like a community. These people have happened into your life, and now you have to choose how to treat them and how not to treat them. So the thing that pops into my mind as I'm thinking about this is it harder for us to be better or to treat people or to give them the benefit of the doubt in a corporate setting, or is this just a magnifying glass that's put on us and our ability outside of the corporate setting? Like where have you found it easier to apply these principles? Because everything you're saying to me sounds like things we should be doing in real life. Right? Yeah. So we should go, I don't like that person's music, I don't like how they looked in some pictures, I don't like the way they speak, as opposed to saying, that person's an asshole. Yeah. And it's like, well, how do you know they're an asshole? I can tell. You're like, okay, but what of them? You know, and we've seen this happen online. Sure. You could just like build, all of a sudden there's like a movement, and everyone's just like, we hate them. You're like, but why is this? An example for me was like Anne Hathaway. Do you remember there was a time when Anne Hathaway was just hated?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
she'd done nothing.
That's my thing. I'm not like chronically online, so I pop in and I'll miss things, and I'm like, what did she do? And then I'll go down and I'm like, I can't find it. And then she'd like danced at a film festival or something, or an after party, and then people were like, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, what has happened in her life or in people's lives that this shifted? And
that's a good example of the swirl of
that's what I mean.
Someone's character,
right?
And this is where I think these things get dangerous. But you're 100% right, which is the office is a little petri dish, and everything that we learn at work is applicable. If you do, like, the best organizations are values-based, right?
Yeah, but what does that mean? I'll be honest, I'm always confused about that because I go, for me, a company's values are to make money.
Go on.
No, and I mean this, and I'm not like saying it in an attacking way. I go, I'm always thrown when a company says like our values, because I go, these are your values.
Yeah.
But if losing money comes into the equation, you will adapt your values. So then they aren't values.
Correct.
That's what I always think of. So I go like, can a company actually have values beyond making money?
So you are highlighting the very problem with modern capitalism, right? The capitalism that we have today is not Adam Smith capitalism. That's not the capitalism we have today. We have a bastardized form of capitalism influenced by an economist from the late 70s named Milton Friedman. The Adam Smith version of capitalism was that the baker selfishly wants to make the best bread, so that they can sell more bread than all the other bakers. And the butcher selfishly wants to make the best meat so he can sell more than all the other butchers. And the dairy farmer wants to make the best butter so that he can sell more. And what you get is the best sandwich. What we as the customer get is the best sandwich, right? So the selfish behavior of wanting to be better than the others benefits the customer, right? And in the late 1970s, Milton Friedman wrote an op-ed in the New York Times where he basically proposed a new definition of business. He actually called it responsibility of business. The responsibility of business was to maximize profit within the bounds of the rules. Forget about that.
Maximize profits
Within the bounds of the rules, right? Ethics are a higher standard than the rules. And you see it all the time. You know, companies did some horrifically unethical things. You know, a patent to an essential drug, and they raised the price 1,500%.
Right, it's within the rules.
And they all say the same thing. We broke no laws. Yeah, which is true, right? Horrible, but not illegal, right? And so, in the late 70s and early 80s, a lot of sort of the ruling classes, the CEO classes, heard this definition and went, yeah, baby, right? And they embraced Friedman's definition of capitalism, or business, the responsibility of business, and they sort of doubled down on it. And it gave rise to some entirely new behaviors and entirely new CEOs.
This is just from this op-ed.
Yeah. I mean, like, it became a popular thing.
Wow, Milton, that's a high hit rate. Well done,
I
Milton.
don't like Milton Friedman, right?
Is Milton Friedman still alive?
No.
Oh, okay. That's why you can say it like that. Otherwise, that would be like a crazy. You're just like, I hate you, Milton Friedman, and Milton Friedman's like, I hate his work. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Can't speak about his character.
Okay.
But I don't like the work he put out there. And so you started to see these new behaviors arise. So, for example, the use of mass layoffs to balance the books on an annualized basis, right?
Yeah.
Did not exist in the United States prior to 1980. It didn't exist. Mass layoffs were used for existential reasons, like, oh my God, the company's going bankrupt, we have to cut 10% of our workforce.
Yes.
Now it's like, we're profitable, we're just not as profitable as we promised, you lose your job, right? That started in the early 1980s, and it started to gain popularity, and then it gave rise to an entirely new type of CEO, like Jack Welch. He was the CEO of GE, and he was like the poster child of Miltonian economics, where you started to see the shareholder being prioritized over the customer and the employee. You started to see shorter-term time horizons. You started to see an emphasis on price of stock versus good for the company's long-term value. You started to see long-term greed being replaced by short-term greed. I don't have an issue with long-term greed, but short-term greed is a problem. And the use of human beings' livelihoods to maximize shareholder value. And this was all because of this Miltonian influence, Jack Welch poster child, that is the standard of how businesses are led today. There's nothing wrong with capitalism. There's a huge problem with this version of capitalism. And you can see what's happening. There's a rise of populist movements across the West in capitalist societies. I don't care if you're on the left or right, Bernie or Trump, it doesn't matter. And they're complaining about the same thing, which is the very small percentage of the elite are getting richer, and everybody else is being left behind. And when you have a huge delta between those who have and those who don't, what you get is revolution. The middle class is drying up, and people are not investing in the stock market anymore. The whole stock market exists so that the average working American can share in the wealth of a nation. That's why we have a stock market. That's what Alexander Hamilton imagined, right? But that's not what we have anymore. So what become a game for a few, so they can command the wealth. And just to put one final sort of cap on it, if you go back to the anthropology of leadership, like if we go back, 50,000 years, whatever you want to do, where we lived in tribes that were never bigger than about 150, 200 people, human beings evolved into naturally hierarchical animals. We're constantly assessing and judging who's alpha, depending on whatever the standards are for that group. Who's alpha? And we treat our alphas differently, right? You know this. As soon as you started getting some fame, you're better looking and all your jokes are funny, right? If you leave your jacket in another room, somebody goes and gets your jacket for you. If you're junior and you leave your jacket in the other room, you get your own jacket, right? That's just how it works. And so what we did was we assessed our alphas, and we stepped back, and we allowed our alphas to get first choice of meat and first choice of mate. Except the group is not stupid. We don't give choice of meat and first choice of mate to our alphas for nothing. There's a deep-seated social contract that when danger threatens the tribe, we expect the person who's actually stronger, actually smarter, actually better fed, to confront the danger to protect the tribe. That's why we give you all the perks. It's not, you don't get the perks for free. They come at a cost. And so that's the deep-seated social contract. We have no problem with CEOs making more money than us. where it broke the contract and why you get the anger is not the disparity. It's when we started to see the people who are in alpha positions, when danger threatened the tribe, the economy took a little shake, whatever it is, that they would sooner sacrifice the people to protect their own interests rather than sacrifice their interests for the short term to protect the people. And that's why we're getting the populist reaction. That's what it is. It's the people saying, you have violated your rights, and we're coming for you with pitchforks.
I mean, it's no different in many ways to what we see in countries, right?
100%.
So people will say we want democracy. Like the idea of democracy is very popular because it's been attached to things like fairness and equality, etc. But I would argue most people would be fine living in a dictatorship or under a monarchy if their lives were good.
Benevolent dictatorship is the best form of government.
Yeah, like people don't actually care really.
The problem is succession.
Yeah, that's actually the thing, you know? And so what you're saying now is, I think of how many people, let's say in America, we start with the US. One of the more interesting things I saw was on AOC. AOC's Instagram page, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She asked people after the election, hey, I noticed that Trump won the election, but he lost on the down ballots in many places. And now a lot of people are saying this is a conspiracy. They're saying, how could Trump have won the election, but the people in these certain counties and whatever, or states, they voted Democrat, but then Trump won? What's going on here? And so she said, just for me, can you all tell me if you voted for me and Trump? I want to know if that's possible. And her, I don't know what the number was, but it looked like she was flooded with replies, and then she started posting them on her page. And it was amazing to see how many people said, I voted for you and Trump.
Yeah.
Because while you two don't see eye to eye, you are both doing the same thing in my eyes, which is you're dismantling the system that has put me in this position.
Correct.
AOC is going, break it all apart. Trump is saying, break it all apart. AOC is saying, these people are screwing you over. Trump is saying, these people are screwing you over. And then you see it with leaders as well. They're killing it. They're doing well. They're having fun. And then on the ground, you're not having a good time. And then it leads us to, it leads us to a lot of what we have now.
So the reaction isn't throw out capitalism and democracy. The answer is throw out this form of capitalism. Go back.
But how do they respond? Yeah, but how do they respond when you, because you actually hang out with CEOs. How do they respond?
Well, the ones who agree with me hang out with me.
Ah,
the ones who don't agree with me don't call me.
Have you ever changed the CEO's mind?
The problem is not their mind. The problem is their incentive structure. Like I remember I was working with a CEO and gave him some counsel on sort of how to organize things better. And he was really honest. He's like, I totally agree with everything you're telling me, and your insights are spot on, and I completely agree, and I'm going to implement none of it. Because if I do it your way, I won't get my bonus. He was just very blunt.
Yeah.
But there are good leaders who are taking risks to fight the machine. There's also a younger generation of leaders that are coming up. The newer companies, the newer CEOs, are raising these questions, and you start to hear things like triple bottom line, and you start to hear these things. But you're 100% right. You know, the number of the fact that I forgot all the businesses that come together. I forgot what they're called. But a few years ago, they put out a statement saying purpose really matters in business.
Okay.
But when I started, like if you talk about purpose at work, you were just a weird ass hippie. And every company has a purpose statement on their website, even if they don't follow it, even if it's just because they have to. But that's at least progress.
I think it's because like we probably fall on different parts of the capitalist debate, and we're not going to get into it because I hate capitalism.
But you are a champagne socialist.
I don't think it's a system that can be redeemed, personally, especially America's history of racial capitalism. I guess I object to the fact that why should I find purpose in work? Like, I actually deeply recoil when I hear that, because I'm just like, oh, so you want me to feel like, it's like kind of like the wellness industry, right?
Yeah.
This way of feeling good about yourself in order to sell me more things. And I'm like, why should to me, my purpose can never, ever be in work. God forbid, an office. And God forbid, my boss coming to me and saying like, what's your why? And I'm like, well, my why is to be with my family and my friends and my community. This is just how I make money.
Is that all this is for your transaction?
Yeah, especially Trevor. I saw the transaction.
This episode, we talking with Simon Sinek about how to find meaning and satisfaction in the work you do. And let's be honest, a big part of that is making sure you end up in the right role at the right place. In other words, it's all about hiring, recruiting, and finding the perfect match. That's what's inspired this next special part of today's episode. Next big opportunity brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Let me give you one example of a job opportunity out right now on ZipRecruiter. A cake maker in Pacifica, California. Yeah, sounds like a pretty straightforward job. But when you think about who the perfect candidate would be, you realize how important the recruiting process actually is. Right? If you're hiring for this job, you need someone with the experience needed to fill all different kinds of orders. People have some pretty weird ideas for cakes out there, and they've got to fulfill them. So you need someone who can also work independently, under deadlines. And the job isn't just going in the back room and making cakes. You have to work with customers to come up with the perfect cake for their special occasion. That's a lot of pressure. If you're applying for this job, you want to make sure the team you're joining works well together and communicates. You want to make sure this business has a good reputation and good benefits. Maybe you're looking for experience inside a small business because you may want to start one of your own someday. ZipRecruiter connects all those dots with tools like Zip Intro, where you can go from posting your job to candidate interviews in just one day. Of course, it's just not cakes. One employer needed to hire front desk salespeople for her Pilates studio, so she used ZipRecruiter's Zip Intro tool to find and schedule back-to-back video screening calls with candidates. She'd only set out to hire 2 people, but she had so many great candidates that she ended up hiring 4 people in 1 week. Whatever role you're looking to fill, ZipRecruiter can help. With smart matching technology and handy tools like Zip Intro, you'll find a potential hire in no time. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it now for free at ziprecruiter.com/Trevor. That's ziprecruiter.com/TREVOR. See for yourself. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Trevor. This has been Next Big Opportunity, brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Now, back to our conversation with Simon Sinek.
What color comes to mind when you see me? Red, right? The color of love. I'm gold, divine. I'm purple, like royalty. It takes more than one color to define us. Electo hair color. Express yourself with 14 vibrant shades of summer. Electo.
This is Joyce's sister. Opening a salon, sponsored by the sales of Amakunya, made with gas stove, funded by the Capitalism loan that Joyce took. Joyce is not alone. She's supporting her community through her side hustle. Plan smart, think Capfin.
Don't panic. Get Sentry. Speed up slowdowns and prevent crashes and react with just 5 lines of code. So your customers can actually buy your product and you can get back to whatever it is you do for fun.
Baie PTI man.
There's a really beautiful story I read. There was an explorer. I don't know. I'm very bad with years, but I remember the stories. And it was there's an explorer in England who went and bumped into an undiscovered tribe, right? They hadn't made contact with the English. And this guy befriended them, and they welcomed him in. All things were good, and then he sort of learned to communicate with them. And it was this beautiful little journey where he learned their way of life and had a wonderful time. And they were really an altruistic, community, and they had different laws, by the way. Sort of murder was legal in some ways. You could just kill somebody, And then the tribe was just like, all right, well, you did it, and we keep it moving. We don't like judge you. We don't. But he was like, surprisingly, everyone didn't kill each other. So they were definitely different, right? After spending, months or even years with them, he goes back to England and he says to like the chief of the tribe and like somebody else, he's like, hey, you should come with me to England. And they travel back to England, and they like spending time with him and his family. You can imagine this life. Like, you go from like the jungle to London. And he says to them, so what do you think? And he says like, he thought these guys are gonna be mesmerized because there's technology and like there's carriages and there's all kinds of stuff. He's like, so what do you think? And he says they were not impressed at all. The only thing that impressed them was the butchery. They were really shocked that you could just go and get meat. They were like, what? They were like, that's the only thing that made them happy. They're like, wow, you could just go get meat anytime you want. That's pretty cool. Everything else they didn't care about, and it culminated in a question that they asked him one day. After a week or so of staying together, he came home, and one of the tribe's people asked him, said, hey, where do you go every day? The guy said, what? And he said, every day you leave this house, you're gone. We're here with like your family. And then you come back. Where do you go every day? And he's like, oh, I go to work. And they're like, They're like, well, why don't you take your family with you? And he's like, yeah, they don't allow that at my work. That's not how we do things here. And they go, oh, okay. And they're like, well, do you like your work more than your family? No, I love my family the most. And they said, well, then why don't you quit your work and just stay with your family? Yeah. And he said, no, I have to work for my family so that we can live. And then they said, well, this system doesn't make sense, because if you're working to be with your family, but you have to leave your family to go to work, then you're doing the wrong thing in the wrong way. And then he said, well, how do you do it? I have to have the house, and I have to. And they said, in our community, when somebody needs a house, we all come together, build them a house. It takes us about a month. There's now a house, and then we go back to living our lives with our families. And if somebody needs something else, we get together, we do that for them, and then we'll go back. And he says it was the first time that he was ever confronted with the notion that the way we live isn't normal, like the office, the work, the family, the thing. And then they went back. By the way, he was like, do you guys want to? They're like, oh, no. We're very happy to leave. By the way, give us some meat. That was really cool. And then they went back home and they lived their lives.
I just struggle with the idea of infusing these corporations with spirituality, because I and the community I belong to, we find that elsewhere. It's like your job is your job. I feel very fortunate to do a job that I enjoy, despite it being a lot of the time. But no, it's just I butt up against that. It looks like, okay, now we're going to do a gym in the office because I make them feel better. They have somewhere to sleep, and like what that.
So actually, how do you define the purpose?
So we're conflating a bunch of things here, right? I don't think any of that's purpose either.
Yeah.
That stuff is superficial and it's quote-unquote culture. Right? So just go back a few years. So there was a time not that long ago where you're right. When you went to work simply to make the money to pay for your stuff, and you had friends with your neighbors, and you had a sense of pride with your neighbors, and you got some sort of belonging or community or moral guidance from church. You had bowling on Saturdays, and you had the tournaments on Thursday nights, and you had these things.
Sunday dinners,
and all these traditions and institutions. The bowling clubs, the bowling leagues went away. Church attendance is down. We're not really friends with our neighbors, but we still have a desire for these things. And so a lot of pressure was put on work to give me these things that I used to get outside of work. So it's not all work trying to force me to do. Some of these changing we are demanding of our offices to give it to us because we're not getting it anywhere else.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
And that's totally fine. And that's totally fine, by the way.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. But when I talk about purpose at work, right? I'm not talking about something spiritual or anything like that. When we talk about vision, whether it's vision, the best companies sound like social movement, right?
Which is scary. It's culty. No, I meet a lot of people that work for these type of vision-driven. I'm like, you join the cult, and they will fire you too.
So, but hold on. So you're
Deze jongen
There's a
is een
swirl of stuff going
Right, I
on,
think-
right?
Clarify
Good,
it
good,
for me.
good. So you're right.
Yeah,
It
clarify.
is cultish.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing because it means I believe there's a shared set of values. I feel like I belong. I feel like I found my tribe, right? The company actually does obey its values and would sacrifice its short-term money to uphold its values. Those are good companies. And when you say, oh, they'll just fire you, the bad companies will.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm with you on the
Yeah.
right? They say all the right things, they put their values on the wall, but it's all a punchline and they don't use them to make decisions.
Yeah.
So you're 100% right there. But I'll take you to see some companies where they're treated right, they don't get fired simply because the company is struggling, and they are hired slowly because they try and choose people who believe in the same values, who are cultural contributors rather than cultural fits, right? Which is, I like it here, I want to give to the people to the left and right of me because they give to me. And they have a psychological safety when they come to work. They feel like someone's got their
I
back.
guess what I object
And those
to,
are beautiful things.
yeah, I think what I object to fundamentally is like the privatization of a sense of belonging. I don't actually think that's the job of a business. I don't believe that's the job of business. I believe that is actually the job of your community and your people.
But let me, can I throw something
and then
in?
I'm like, restore the community.
No, but
I'm
can I- but can I throw it in?
I'm not in the business of being like,
By the
let's
way-
make these
By the way, I agree with you.
businesses in places of purpose and belonging, because that's just like,
No, so I'll throw one thing separately actually, because I don't consult with companies in that way. But I do think, for me at least personally, when we talk about purpose,
yeah.
I sometimes think about it through the lens of, funny enough, pyramids. You know, when I went to Peru, and you go to Machu Picchu and you're looking at the pyramids, the immediate assumption that Western anthropologists had when they came was, oh, they did this using slavery. They're like, oh, you guys had slaves and then that's how you built the thing. And historians who are from Peru go, no, you assume that because that's how you built your empires. You only know how to build using slavery. They go, these people had purpose. And their purpose was they woke up every day, they said, we're building a temple to the gods. And no one was like forcing anyone. They were like, yo, temple time, baby. And everyone got together and they're like, why do we push these rocks? For the gods.
Yeah.
And now someone might be like, they were being manipulated. Who told them about the God? Okay, we can have that conversation forever. But I do think there's a different thrust that people experience where like, you feel like you are doing something or moving towards something. And while it doesn't replace your community, for me, it adds to my community. Do you know what I'm saying? Like even working with you, like a Daily Show, there's like a vibe of like where I'm like, yeah, we're trying to do something. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. But there's like it's like we're trying to move in the same direction. And that's for me.
Ik wil een pause in proud voor het.
30 seconds to help give more power to your willpower.
En dan zie je score, en ik zie je score in summertime zien. En ik zeg ja, het is zo. Het is zo. Nee.
As a business, you have to consider not only how you're going to generate income, but rather as an opportunity and vehicle to use business as a solution to global challenges. I think that businesses need to consider what value they provide. PSCP, Business School, gives me a sense that I am among people who want to create something and who are pursuing something higher.
Luister. Wat ik nou voor jou doen is zonnestralen. Eén.
En jullie stralen, klaar en dan maak je lijnen zo niet wolken.
If you do it right, I think it's something beautiful. But to your point, I think a lot of companies scare people on that. That's why I was asking about the values.
But even if that's sincere, I just don't think that's the role of a company. I think that's a profound failure.
No, but I'm saying,
Because like, I know people who want to go to, like, people in my family, like, I go to work, I come home.
I agree with you. But I'm saying, what are you doing at work? That's maybe my thing. Because I agree with you. I go to work, I come back, yes. But then there's also a third option, which is, which work do I go to?
The shading part.
That's what I think about.
If I offered you more money to go have the exact same job with a different person, Would you
Je
take
zit
it
in qua-
immediately?
No, but I mean, it's
3 euro zeggen.
So, but hold on.
He's kind of, I can't get rid of it.
But you just said, you just said,
I'm in the corner.
so but you're not following your own
toon zo van de
No,
grijs af
I
naar
feel
donker.
that. I come from a position where I feel like it's a real luxury to do what I do. Like I get to write for a living, I get to think, I get to speak.
Hier zit de grijs.
Most of my
Allee,
people in
wat
my
was dat?
life, that's not
Annie donker,
what they
maar-
do. It's not what my parents got to do. That's not what my
That's
grandparents
fair,
got to do. So I guess I come from a different kind of working lineage.
Yeah.
And
Dus maak ook om de...
because of that, I don't try and entrust too much meaning into the job. Like it's not supposed to give me fulfillment or community.
But it does.
Sometimes it does, not all the time.
But sometimes
even,
it does.
But when it doesn't,
Sometimes your friends do.
But like,
Sometimes your friends
I
don't.
think my issue is for most people, their job does not give them
I agree
that
with you.
profound sense of meaning. And I'm just like, we need to live in a world that even if your job doesn't give you that, that's fine. But it seems that what you do and a lot of people advocate is coming from it from the other side. And let's make these businesses give to people what their general world should be given to them.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate the irony of the thing you're railing against is the thing that you fully embrace, which is if I offered you more, you said it's a place to make money,
Yeah.
to serve my family, and I would get my community somewhere else. But if I offered you more money to work
Well, I'm a
for somewhere else-
socialist. That's why, Champagne socialist.
Yeah, but if I gave you more money to go somewhere else, you wouldn't want to. You would want to stay here because you quote unquote like it here, and you feel on some occasions that you actually are contributing, like the messages you're spreading, and especially on the Daily Show, the stuff that you're putting out there in some way, shape, or form was informing people and helping people understand the world and make sense of the world. That was the thing you were contributing to, and it gave the work meaning. You didn't just come to work and be like, oh, I've got to work and write again. You're like, no, I'm enjoying this because I feel like
I
I'm
will say
advancing something.
maybe I come to it from a different vantage point as a mother. I have a lot of friends who have decided to spend like the very early childhood years with their children, which is a privilege, and it's because the thing that takes you out of the home has to be so fulfilling to be like, I'm not going to be with this kid when they're learning to walk and they're learning to talk, etc., etc.
Don't go anywhere, because we got more What Now after this. How do we better find, not necessarily the purpose, and not always the meaning, but sort of that why, but notice that it's always shifting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I understand, like you're talking to a company and you're saying to them, look, you are a collection of people.
Yeah.
And so you have to ask yourself what you would like this collection of people to be moving towards,
Yeah.
or how you would like them to even be with one another, right? That's what I assume you're doing.
On a good day.
Yeah, but there are also people, right? And so I wonder whether, looking at your own life or looking at all of the learnings that you've come across, is there a way that we can all, doesn't matter where we are in our world, is there a way that we can always hone in on the sort of quote unquote why that shifts? Because to your point, I think it's great that a mother goes, I don't know about my job. And I think we should be living in a world where you are able to do that, because the same people who will complain about women, like, having kids and blah, are the same people who often complain about birth rates declining.
Yeah.
I always find that, ironic. They'll be like, the birth rates, look at the birth rates. And I'm like, but who do you think gives birth? And why do you think that they're not having as much birth time? Yes, because, no, really, I do believe that. So, I would love to know what you think we could do.
So, by the way, I think you and I agree more than not, which is just my attitude is like, the world is the way it is.
Yeah.
And if we're going to go to work, then work should at least feel like I'm contributing. And I want to go home at the end of the day, like, if you work hard for something you believe in, it's passion. If you work hard for something you don't believe in, it's stress. And I'd rather people, even if they work really hard, be like, you know what, the sacrifice was worth it because I feel like my work has some value.
Ja, maar
When it's done right,
ik heb mijn kaas om 3 keer te verloren in de week.
but
Dus
the
ik
problem
heb
is that you
verloren
said,
tegelijk mee.
superficially people say the
Ik
same
heb verloren.
words, talk about the same values.
Eindelijk heb ik wel verloren. 4 verloren eigenlijk.
To go to your point about the why, a why is fundamentally an origin story. That's all it is. And a why does not change. You have one why your whole life, and that's it. Because you are the sum total of how you were raised. You have one why your whole life. One why your whole life. You were
Whoa, Simon, now I'm going to be fighting with you before we go. Wait, what?
Yes. You are,
Tell me more, tell me more.
Now we're out of time. You have one why. You have one why your entire life, because you are the product of how you were raised.
Okay.
You're not going to, like, you are who you are. Okay. And there's nothing that can happen in your life that will make you not who you are. Now, you can pretend you're someone different. We would call you inauthentic. And when I uncover a why, literally all I'm doing is going backwards to discover the patterns of what made you who you are, and then I'm trying to put words in it. And it's the same for a company. Walt Disney, when it does things right, is fundamentally the origin story of Walt Disney's vision of the world, this escape from the stressful lives that we have to go to this magical place and we can leave reality for a moment. That's literally what it says in the plaque outside Disneyland, you know? And that's all, if you look at the beginnings of things, we can do a little, let's have a little fun.
I've been having fun, just for the record.
I haven't
only been having fun.
It's my job. Welcome to What Now is
I've only been
Een
having
stukje
fun.
shake nou. Een stukje shake.
Tell me something specific that you've worked on in your entire career. It does not have to have been commercially successful. Okay? But something specific that you worked on in your career that you loved being a part of, and if every project was like this one thing, you'd be the happiest person.
Maar het is verschrikkelijk zeer boy, joh.
Something specific.
This is my thinking music, everyone.
Carmen, wat zoek jij zo
Think
zeggen?
properly.
Wat zoek dit zoek je?
It would probably be
Dit gelezen.
the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Okay.
Zoek je butterflies.
Tell me of all of the amazing things you've done in this remarkable career of yours, what was it about the White House Correspondents' Dinner that stands out that you want to bring up?
Je zoekt twee te doen.
So,
Ik
I've
heb ook
actually
een butterfly
thought a lot
maar
about this,
over
so
Chris.
I'm also cheating a little bit, everyone. Because I do think
Hoe
about this
butterflies
all
zoek
the
je?
time. The reason it was that for me
Huh?
was because, firstly, I had no boss.
Maar
It's
hoeveel
very
in
important to me in
gedachten?
life, right? I had no boss.
Hoeveel?
Secondly, the thing had a natural conclusion.
3, 4.
Right? It does not go infinitely, right? I think everything should end.
Ian.
I'm a big fan of
Ian
endings.
maat.
It's wonderful in life. Third is I could bring on whoever I wanted. And it was a wide range of people, by the way. Some people were writers, some people were not. Some people were comedians, some people were not. Okay?
You had those experiences.
Maar ze hebben loze
When you
5
wrote the
5
Daily Show, you could fill the writer's room with whatever you wanted. I mean, you had a boss, but kind of.
No, but it makes a big
one of a
difference.
kind
It's
thing.
like, because at the Daily Show, for
Kan je
instance,
gratis doen?
I was working for somebody. And the somebody I'm working for is the network. So you're always fighting this balance between what do you think is important to do
Dat is
or
een
create,
rabbi.
and what do these people want? Because you
hoor,
can
maar ze
do
kunnen ze
what you
butterfly.
think is important, and if the ratings are terrible, at some point they go, it's time for you to leave, right? So now and to be honest with you, I think that's one of the biggest problems with television and art right now in the world, right? If you look at the MGM logo, you know, with Trayvon, our friend who was on one of the podcasts, he pointed this out to me even. It's like in Latin, we know when that lion roars before the movie. In Latin it says there, art for the sake of art. And I don't think we do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think people don't make movies because they think making a movie is a beautiful thing for people to experience. People don't tell stories because it's like, it just makes you feel good as a person. No. Okay, how much will it get? Will there be a sequel? Can we get more money? Is there franchising?
For you, the Correspondence Dinner was pure.
In as many ways as it could be, yes, it was. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
And so that's the thing.
So if everything in your life was like that, game on.
Game on.
Okay. Tell me an early, specific happy childhood memory. Something I can relive.
An early, specific
happy childhood memory.
Childhood memory. Damn, this is an interesting one. Let me think. Because there's many. How old? Give me an age and I'll tell you. No, but when does childhood end?
42.
Okay. No, I'm being serious though.
I want when you're a child, like under in school, like
Okay, my
early childhood memory.
One of my happiest childhood memories is me.
Everyone who's ever asked me, what do you mean by childhood?
Yes, because I think the memories at different ages are very.
Yeah, tell me only specific childhood memories.
Yeah, so okay, when I think of young, one of my favorite memories was playing on the roundabouts at a park near my house.
This is something,
What's a
there's a
roundabout?
specific time, not
If
just
it's a roundabout.
No. This is the one specific one.
Okay, yeah, go on.
And we were all seeing
Laser
how we
gas.
were all teaming up. I got a bunch of people together to see how fast we could make this thing spin. But like it was a monumental effort. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone had to be at the right place, swinging the thing at the right time to get it. Our goal was to make it fly. That was the dream. We thought if we spin it hard enough, it's going to take off. And this was, but that was one of my. When I think back, I go like, wow, what a day, what a day.
And of all the amazing things you had happen in this magical childhood that you've talked about,
The
what
beers.
specifically was it about this one thing that stands out so
All
much?
good. What's good? Your side, man.
Well, I think for me, it's many of the things that I was saying with the White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? Collaboration. I chose the people I was doing it with. We didn't pick the random kids who we knew had no coordination because the thing's going to smack you in the hand, right? So we got the strongest, fastest, smartest, most affable. We put the people together and we were like, this works. So it wasn't like if you were the small kid, then your job might be more on the inside. If you were the big kid, your job was to push. But we put people together and it matched in many ways, right? And the most important thing, funny enough, Simon, the most important thing was that we were having fun. And I mean this genuinely. We were having, we had a purpose, but man, we were having fun.
So so now what I'm doing is I'm looking for the connection between those things.
Yes.
Saying, okay, that's the common factor, right? You're the first person I've ever talked to, ever, and I've done hundreds of these, who said, I'm telling you the same story. I can hear the same story, but you're the first person who can hear it.
This is what other brokers are doing towards through high spreads, withdrawal fees, and slow order execution. Receive it in full with Okta, thanks to low spreads, rapid order execution, and no withdrawal fees. Switch to Okta and keep more to yourself.
New with a multi-action formula suitable
Video's
for
maken.
age 2.
En dan, het kan meer raak, het kan minder raak. Maar het kan niet minder stoot worden. Iemand, ik zie ook iemand in de midden. Laatst maand, toen kreeg je 18, 32, 40, toen kreeg je 500 rand een maand. Dat zijn video's boos.
Bruno, wie betaalt? YouTube betaalt zelf.
YouTube kreeg je makkelijk geld van Edwards. Zoals die ik betaal film, hè? Thai advertentiecampagne die YouTube betaalt om te Edward. Zie je? Voor ik heb ook Edward aan. En dan betaal ik misschien 700 rand voor 3 dagen. Zie je? Zoals company, zoals misschien zoals Toyota. Betaalt voor een jaar.
So just
10 miljoen rand.
so just to pay you that compliment that you're living outside your own
Edwards.
head. But this is the thing,
So,
which is
YouTube betaalt dus
where
maar.
you find great joy is when you
YouTube
can
betaalt
bring
creators.
the right people together to do something
Helemaal nog
that
steeds
matters
beter.
and have a ton of fun doing
That's
it.
yes.
Okay? And that's sort of your purpose in life, which is to bring people together to do something bigger than themselves and have a good time doing it.
Right.
And if everything
Nee,
you do
van
in
je
your
kan
life
doodwerken over niks.
is that
Betaal ja, man.
The merry-go-round, we was called
Brother.
merry-go-round.
yeah, that everything in your life is like that. Right?
Baie zwaar aan.
That is what a game on is.
Yeah.
And so the
Ja,
opportunity
moet je omtrent zo
is to remind yourself of that, right?
100.000 mensen al
Get
het
a Lego merry-go-round or a picture of a
om
merry-go-round.
een lekker
Just use that merry-go-round.
geld te verdienen. Zo.
I like sentimental,
Right? The merry-go-round is
100.000
your
mensen. Bro,
talisman. It's your,
als ik al 100.000
it's the
mensen
thing
op
that reminds
YouTube
you
heb,
of why you
subscribers,
got invested. All you
dan
want
maak
to do
ik
in
plus
life
minus
is work tirelessly to create the merry-go-round,
100.000 rand
right?
of 80.000 rand een
And the
maand.
thing is, because you have vision,
Dat is waar.
We're gonna make this thing fly. Yeah.
Wat ik
Okay,
maar
so-
niet goed terug, man.
people go,
Met die video's.
and you go, you, and you.
Yeah, speed
okay?
ook.
And now they're all coming
speed,
together
speed.
to class. And whether
Speed.
it succeeds
So
or
whatever.
fails, it didn't fly. It
Hij
did
man,
not- it did
hier,
not fly.
hoe dat man van
It did
Mr.
not fly. So
Hij
it
mag
actually
elke
thing
dag op
for
zijn
me,
dingen,
yes,
zo,
but it didn't matter.
zijn rekenaar
Because the joy
en
of
spelen
the
videogames.
fun, even with the
En livestreamen.
it was the exact same thing for the correspondence dinner.
Hoeveel followers
never
hij
said
per
at
dag?
any point, "Am I freaking-"
Hij mag is altijd doen.
No, that's not the point.
Maar livestream
The
van
point
8
wasn't
uur.
the result.
No.
The point was the people.
The outcome is a bonus. I always say this.
The outcome's a bonus.
But now let me
8
ask you
uur,
this.
pap.
Which is, I love this for me. No, I appreciate it.
miljoen
But,
zijn.
so the
Miljoen.
last thing I'll ask you
Het zijn
before I go
rand
is
in
this.
dollars.
for the person, and I think this is sort of what Christiana is
Mas
saying.
mas bisa na
For those who
a
are not lucky
billionaire
enough
man.
to find
Dus een
themselves in
billionaire
that
ne.
place, in that moment.
Is die
Some
Afrikaanse
people
geld.
can't be in a park, they
Mr.
can't
Beast.
choose the kids, they can't, do you get
Hy
what I'm
het die
saying?
meeste
What
followers.
is the trick that you
Hy
would
het
recommend? And I mean this
400
honestly, because I really
miljoen
go, you're
followers.
comparing your wine, everybody has, yes.
meeste
So like, so, and it doesn't have to be a happy child.
Ze krijgen maar zijn plek. Sien jy YouTube pleks.
And I said, tell me
Hy
about the childhood memory.
maar
They said,
trofies.
I had a horrible childhood. Yes.
Kry hulle
Tell me
wanneer 100
and they said I had a very, very
1000
alcoholic, abusive father.
skrywe ze.
And he would
Kry
go
jy
drunk and
as verskillends mos nie.
And I
Nou hy het die laaste een is 'n
remember
diamond. Hy het 'n diamond in nou.
and I wrapped
Maar
my
'n
sister
diamond in
underneath me to protect her from my father. And you know,
Door hy
I'm
pere.
just telling the story.
Dit begin al nie gekry nie man.
She wakes up every day to
It's
protect those who
ridiculous.
can't protect themselves. I can bring
ridiculous.
myself to tears talking about it, right? And she was struck by this pattern that she's at her natural best and she finds peace when she's able to offer protection to others from whatever it is.
Elke dag wanneer die
These
jou
patterns
kom.
exist for everyone.
Elke dag.
They're not the same as
My
yours.
bro, hy sê ek kyk sy interview net
Whenever
met sy B sê
somebody hears that pattern,
hy het
the result is goosebumps, some sort of emotional response. So all I ask you
Say-
is for that person now, let's imagine a person.
Hy
who goes to Simon,
en
I
drie
don't have much
guys
in the way of my community.
die gebrainstorm vir
And this is
jaar.
because of, you know, a series of factors.
Na jaar se brainstorm.
There isn't that, there isn't whatever.
Dinge is hulle.
I work because this was the only
Tape
job
hulle
I
in,
could get. So I don't have the
video's.
luxury of being recruited.
Elke
and I
video,
haven't been found by
geld
where
hulle
I'd
maak,
like to be found.
elke maand se revenue,
But
push
I'm
hulle in die
also
volgende
looking for
video.
a piece of this.
Push hulle in die volgende
And
video.
my job is a soul sucking
Laat soos
experience.
goede wat er-
Here from the earliest time to the
Bijvoorbeeld,
latest time. And I give all
iemand
my
die langste die
energy to
kar
this
vast,
thing. And then
so
when I
zo
get
vast,
home, I have to look after my family.
wen
and
miskien
how,
'n miljoen
how
rand.
did they find that? Or what are you saying to that
Maar
person?
bro, miskien hoe
when
lê hy
they don't
parents
have
laat.
the immediate
sy
luxury
kar.
of like springing out, searching for it, going to another place, doing another thing. What is like
Oh, Zayman nou né.
because there's always something confusing.
Like hy is nice man.
Yeah. So I went to
Jy
Kenya, this year.
maar real
And
life
we went into the Mara and
as 'n
you know to the
sê hy
poorer neighborhoods, and we
uitgestelde
met
balkies
some
né
remarkable human beings.
in die water in.
And
As ek krokodille langs in. En hy so deurloop. Ag jy toe
the
in rand.
West.
Of miskien 6 miljoen
Like your
rand.
story. Yeah, you know, it's like
Oh nou sy res, hy ding om so eie hoor. Like dit so byt
you
en byt
have
is.
nothing, you live in a mud
As
hut,
jy
how can
place
you be happy?
krokodille in.
You know, I'll show you happiness. Come look at my house with all my stuff. Right?
Hy braak die hier gaan na so.
All they do is smile.
When I did not
You
say.
look at the children and say they have nothing, they have no toys, and they've got a tire and a
En is
stick.
vir 'n sekonde is hy 'n lange loop is so
And there's
so.
data on this that children that have more toys actually
Maar dit gaan.
don't have as good imagination. Yes, he's got a tire and a stick, he's got an active imagination, and those kids, those boys and girls, all they do is smile. And
Maar
laugh.
hy ding wat hy meer vermaak.
And I met these remarkable
Die
people
views
who
van waarom.
absolutely their lives.
Kyk op elke view ne, op
And they're
elke
working 4 hours to sell. Right,
ek het my gewerk op wat ek het train 20 na $50 'n dag.
And they have joy in life. And they
As
look
ek hom
after
train,
each other. And it's
8
everything you said. When
views
somebody needs a
elke
house, we
dag.
help them build a house. And the sense of community they have
$20
made me
600 rand.
realize
600 na
that
1000
we in the
rand.
West are addicted to money.
Elke dag.
And
As ek 8
And we
views.
look at other people
Maar ek push mos
who
vir meer
don't
as hy.
have our addiction and we feel sorry for them because they don't have our high.
Hy pere.
Like it's a heroin addict feeling sorry for all the
Hy
people
push
who
vir
don't
millions
have
of
heroin.
views.
And they're looking at us going,
Elke
you're a heroin addict.
Depending-
But it feels so good to be
maar
on
kyk
heroin,
hulle video man.
right? And that's us in the West.
USA
We're all
betaal die
so
meeste.
intoxicated
Soos hy moet
with what the
baie
money feels
mense
like.
kry
We've
van die
forgotten
USA
about community.
om so
We've
video te
forgotten
kry.
about sacrifice. We've forgotten about giving. We've forgotten about helping. We've forgotten about imagination.
Bietjie afversak nie.
And I
That's fine.
went in thinking, what can I give? And I came out saying, what must I learn? I love that. But again, I'm just going to push you on this because I need a tip. I'll tell you why. Because I agree with all of that. But this is why I think Christiana and I are friends, because I understand a lot of what she's saying, honestly, like innately. So I'm saying now that people are in this situation, what's like a hack? Because there are some people who literally, they can't find the community because there is no community. They don't have the people around them. They live in a different country maybe. Maybe their family doesn't even talk to them. Is there like
Ja, kom
just like
elke dag op my live so.
hack or something you can move that can move you
Eens
towards
kerk.
that?
En
Yeah.
hy het my waarom.
And the answer is service.
Wat sê jy jonger?
Oh, yeah. I have a friend
Hy gooi op.
who was struggling.
Hy opgooi gesê.
She knows what I do.
Ja, dat kom
She
nu
came
dit
to
op
me
my
and
live.
said, I said, okay. So we
Ja,
got together every
dat
Wednesday
lief,
for night.
ja, raak hem ook.
And she told me what she was going through. Her marriage was falling apart. Her
Ik
career
zie
wasn't
snaaks
going the
geweest
right
in de
way.
wereld.
Kids were driving her crazy. And just, she wasn't having a good time.
And
kan maar nou
every
niet nog dit
Wednesday
was.
I give her some counsel, some
Kan
advice,
kom
and
maar.
she feel great. That lasts for about 2
Ik weet
days.
niet, het is
And
een
then she go back,
schrijfje.
and then she come back next Wednesday, and
Ik kan niet gaan viewen hier.
you see this pattern.
Ja, ik zie dat, je ziet nou.
And I finally sort of remembered my own work. And I
Numbers
remembered,
Black Pen.
you know, sort of my own work and service. I'm like,
I don't know, nou, ik moet nog in.
the 12-step program.
Ik
no
wil
steps,
tussen.
you have a problem. And if you master 11 steps, but not the 12th, you're going to succumb to the disease. But if you master the 12th, you're more likely to beat the disease. The 12th step is to help another alcoholic. Wow. It's service. That's the 12th step. So I said to her, I did a little social experiment on us. I said, every week we get together to help you. And I'm realizing I need help too. I trust you more than anybody. You're my best friend. I love you. And I need coaching too. It was deadly serious. It wasn't a game. Like, and can we split our time? 45 for me, 45 for you. She said, absolutely. So the next week we got together and we spent 90 minutes talking about me. And she gave me advice and she gave me counsel. And the next week we got together. And just by accident, it's not like we planned it this way, we spent 90 minutes talking about me.
It was
About 2 months.
Yeah, Baba.
So what I recommend to people who are struggling with whatever it is, I can't find love, I can't find happiness, I can't find a job, I can't find whatever it is I'm looking for. Find someone who's struggling with the same thing and help them find the thing they're looking for. And by the way, it reinforces everything that we've been talking about this whole time, which is community is the thing. But when we're selfishly minded, we don't build community. And if you look at all of those places that we've all visited that we love that have community, everything is about service. That's all of it. That's all it is. Well, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. That's where the sacrifice comes from. Find a way to find the energy to help build your house, even though I got my own.
Als ik ga, dan praat ik nog terug. Is niet.
And
Ik wacht tot de
the joy of
En dan praat ik ook niet.
time and energy, non-redeemable commodities, unlike money.
Praat nooit.
Maar als ik de eerste keer speel, praat ik nog. Dan praat ik maar nog niet.
To someone to see the benefit they derive has an impact on human beings that is hard to calculate.
Je hebt klaar bij.
Described as joy. And the reason is because that is the biology how we're designed. That is Mother Nature's desperate attempt to get the species to survive. And we will only survive if we help each other. That's why it feels so good. And that's what purpose is. Purpose for me, the deepest meaning of purpose for me is it's the opportunity to serve those who serve others.
Damn, you sound like my mom. No wonder she always says, okay, Cristiano.
Rakare!
Are you gonna know?
How are you doing, Rakare?
I agree with him now.
No, but you don't want to find your roundabout?
Iletu.
Okay. No, that's
How are you doing, Iletu?
No, but I agree with that.
in private.
The service stuff. I think
That's what it's about.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the life well lived.
Yep.
Well, you see, as I said, I never know what's going to happen when I sit down with Simon Sinek. But at the end of it, there's something else that I discover, a new way to see, like a paradigm, or, and I think everyone listening had the same experience. Simon Sinek, thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me. Such a joy.
Thank you. You've got to take me to those good companies. I was actually thinking about Shivani, the founder of that yogurt company.
Yeah. I haven't met him yet, but I mean, they have a great reputation. I can take you, if you really want to see some cool stuff, we can take you to see some cool stuff.
Thank you.
Sourcing for your business? Alibaba.com is the place to go. Whether you are a solo entrepreneur, startup, purchasing manager, or franchise owner, join the other over buyers on Alibaba.com and source from your business in an easier, more secure way.
See?
Okay, what do you think is worse? Finding out the person you're with has a secret husband or wife, or being the secret husband or wife?
Finding out that they're the secret. Because if you are the secret, you get control. You in on it. You in control.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, don't ever be the one who gets blindsided. Now you
Wait, you'd rather be
the secret.
the secret.
Yeah. There's power in that. The one that's the secret has got the choice. Has got the choice to not be the secret.
But they don't.
The one that is none the wiser. All of their choices have been taken away.
You might never know. I always think to myself, it would be nice to be at a funeral and find things out. You know, you hear these stories of people where they're at a funeral
And they found
the
that-
person they've been married to forever, right?
Yeah.
And then at the funeral, they meet another family and they're like, oh, who are you? We've never met you. And they go, we're the family. And they're like, no, no, we're the family. And then it becomes, I think that's nice. Because it's nice to like, because think about it, the funeral would be like the end of the journey. But now it's nice to be like, there's like a spin-off series.
There's nothing fun. There's nothing fun about finding
zo
out.
zo.
It's better than a person just dying.
Voor
guys.
nu wat we kunnen kijken.
No.
Ja,
That's, I'd rather
ik
my
zie jullie op
dad
een succes.
dies, and then we go, and then we all the one family goes, and then we also one family coming back. That's it.
Wouldn't you rather have like new siblings now?
No. New everything.
Because guys, the one that was the secret.
You're selfish, that's your problem. You're selfish.
The one that's the secret.
I want a spin-off series. This is What Now with Trevor Noah.
Check out how good this thing smells.
What is it?
It's
Oh, the
What's that, my hand lotion?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Jesus. This is amazing.
I'm doing it.
I smell like.
Is this just an excuse for, you're just trying to show us your ring?
I don't even think it's.
I've noticed since marriage, you've taken, like, the amount of hand
Joh, ik dacht nooit
gestures.
zeer Julian.
Rubbish. Rubbish. I always spoke with my
No,
hands.
no, 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 no. No, you spoke like that with your hands.
Yeah.
You've been with me for how many years? You've never complimented my hand cream. And then now you're like, oh, the hand cream, smell it.
Look like you just scrubbed it.
Smell it. Oh, smell it,
It's a
please.
good day to say blind, people.
Congratulations.
You know
We
what I was
haven't,
thinking?
we haven't been on the podcast since you've been married.
Oh, yes. No, what I was thinking when I was on my way here is that you basically have a podcast all around me. Because the first time was when I was turning 14.
That's true.
And then the second time was my movie was nominated for an Oscar.
Yes.
And now I'm engaged. This is the What Now podcast. Thanks to Annie. Writing my check.
Dat is ook mooi.
Um,
Ik kan niet meer gebruiken.
I'm not spoiled and pampered. It's fine.
Oh,
I do nothing, which is great.
I thought it would be the
I'm
other way around.
No. Yeah, that's what they try to tell us women. That yeah, you must cook, you must clean. None of that. The real marriage is the man that does everything.
Wait, so you don't cook anymore?
I do cook, but that's all I need to do.
Oh, okay.
Like absolutely all I need to do.
Yeah, because I was going to be like, you not cooking is a...
But a punishment for me.
No, but for everyone. No, but for everyone. This is like a concept now. Now I have like a vested interest in destroying your marriage. No, I'm saying if you didn't cook. I'm saying if you didn't cook.
Okay. No, I promise you, it's so nice to find a partner. Like I've literally found an equal. Like he's my partner. He's like my dude, he's my guy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I feel so protected and safe and it's just the entire thing. Also because he's the one person in the world that I don't have to convince to be on my side.
Oh, he's automatically on your
He's
side.
automatically on my side, but well in public. But if you get home,
No, that's the whole point of a
and
relationship.
then you feel like,
In public you say,
Yeah.
I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you. And then when you go, yes. It's the opposite of Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, they were supposed to do it, if they were married, they'd do it the other way around.
They just went together too many places. That's another thing that I've realized.
That's how every relationship ends.
Exactly. Yeah. There is no way that you guys can be. I mean, every time we saw Donald Trump, Elon Musk was there. That relationship, that's gonna fail.
How have you been? Sis? Are you married?
Maybe.
And you know what? It's so plausible. Let's see her get married and tell none of us.
He would do that.
And he does this every now and then on social media. Where he's like, yeah, I'm sitting with my wife and kids. And then people have meltdown because every woman in the country is hoping to be seen with wife and kids.
Wait, have you actually done this?
What,
I would
married?
say like I'm sitting with my wife and kids and then...
Oh, sometimes.
Yeah.
Huh. Why do you do that?
Because maybe I'm married. You know, this is... Sometimes I'm chilling with my wife and she'll be like, yo, and then one day I want to show my kids the teeth. When they both you know.
Look at these guys.
Your wedding is going to be the first wedding I've ever attended.
I know that.
Ever in my life.
I know that. It is.
Are there any tips I should
At a
know?
wedding, though.
Say again?
You worked at a wedding.
Yeah, but that's not attending a wedding. A lot of people work at weddings, bruh. Imagine if people serving food are like, oh, this is my fourth wedding I'm attending. No, bro, you work at a wedding.
And my mashed potatoes full.
Yes, you don't work. You don't attend a wedding if you're working at a wedding. I've never attended a wedding ever in my life.
Maar remember
Is there anything I should know beforehand? Are there things I should or shouldn't do?
You'll be fine. Trevor, you've been to the Oscars and the
Why, man?
Yeah, but that's not the same.
Are you sure?
Oh, goodness. Here we go. Oh, boy.
Do you panic when you have to go to events like that?
Ja, kleed die man moet best maar verstaan.
Why?
Because of people. And I know my people and I love
Maar
my
jij was dan
people,
maar
but
het
you realize something else about the wedding is that those are not all.
They're not all your people.
My people.
Yeah, so you know, it's funny you say that. So part of the reason I'm never into weddings is because I work too much. And the other reason is people don't invite me to their weddings, or people uninvite me because I'm new. So multiple brides have said, we don't want Trevor at
Zie jij,
our
Wayman?
wedding. He can't have two brides.
Viva.
There you have it.
I'm mensen. Alles geplaatst wat ik voor mensen zeg.
Ja.
Ik man lang op maken.
No, literally, people have said to me, they go,
Het zou je
so
verdienen.
then the husband will have to come and tell
Nee,
me,
dan waar het geen.
we're getting married. I'm
Ik hoef het
congrats,
niet.
when's the, and then like, yeah, that's one.
Susan, dit is wel niet, maar zij jezelf.
And I'll be friends with both of them. And she's like, yeah, I just don't want Trevor there.
And you know what? People don't understand. I have a hard rule that I do not take photos at weddings. Right? Because it's all about the couple.
Yes.
Leave me out of selfies. No selfies.
Okay, would you
None of
persoon
that.
wat nog ja was.
in disguise?
Exactly. Wat kans
No, I'm
had.
actually quite entertaining.
Selfish guys.
Because I was thinking about this the other day. Michael Jackson used to go out in full prosthetic makeup. And I was like, maybe I'll come as like an old man from somewhere. Just like make it interesting.
And then when people say, oh, where's Trevor? He's here.
Yeah, you just go like, he's here. Didn't you see him? He's here.
I'll just put you at my dad's table.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, I can just be like some old man from some Anele, I've known her for many years. So exciting, Anele. What a life, what a wonderful time. And they're like, who is this guy? I'll just be like the life of the party.
Good idea.
I'll be the life of the party.
And then what? As the evening progresses,
No review.
No reveal.
No reveal.
Okay.
I just roll through your party.
Oh, actually,
Yeah. Jean-Manuel. Oh yes, I've known Anele for many years.
But do you not want to be seated around your friends?
I do.
But then people are going to be like, who's the random guy with kayak on his
Jean-Manuel, we've known him for years. That's all you gotta say. You are one of those people where no one will wonder why you know a random person.
This is true.
You've traveled the world.
This is very true.
You're close friends.
There's shape. There's a poor French person who's gonna get accosted at the wedding now. You know, I'll be taking pictures of this guy. He's gonna be like, I don't know.
And then they Trevor, there's a picture, Trevor. Trevor, don't be like that.
Oh boy, man, it's gonna be crazy.
Well, the reason I invited you here, my friends, is I realized the other day we've never played a game of If I Rule the World together.
How does it work?
Yes. Hey, you know what? I knew you were gonna want like the rules, and I'm gonna have to break them down for you. Anele will just play the game, because you're a normal human being. Sizwe is a robot, so I have to explain this to you. It's If I Rule the World, but don't think of it as like it's not like it's magic, but it's not magic.
Okay.
It's a thought exercise.
So it does need to make sense.
It's better if it doesn't make sense, but your motives need to make sense. And what you're trying to do is convince the other two people that your idea of the world should be implemented because you justify it. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
Allow me.
If I rule the world,
Je allow me
all
what to
elections would be at the same time. All countries, like, yo man, elections on this day, same limit terms, and we all go to elections and we vote. And then we vote. There's more and
Okay, so if you rule the world, everyone in the world would have their elections on the exact same day, exact same time. Basically, you terms would be aligned. Yeah.
My question then, even countries that don't have elections, you would say.
Well, so you know, but you raise a very good point. You raise a very good point. So when everybody else has elections, countries like North Korea, Burkina Faso, you just load your gun. That's the day you load your gun.
Okay.
So if your exchange of power happens to our island, you get the popular of that day.
Oh, so you're not judging how elections are, but you just want it to happen at the same time. But wait, why?
So that the person who comes to power with every other person, and then you guys lead in unison.
I like the idea, but I'm worried about a few things. Okay, first of all,
Golden Herbal combines nature's herbs with folic science for healthy
Hispano
gut,
aso.
strong
Aspan sino.
aspetta.
Si spanna va bene. Eu creio.
Creio, né? Vou comprar isso de lá, sim, né?
Ja, hun zijn nu in bad.
Ja.
Do you not worry that if we do this, you could create a world where everything goes wrong at the same time? Because think, okay, let's look at the world right now, right? So Donald Trump won the election. Before Donald Trump won, most or many countries in the world were leaning right, right? So in Canada, they were leaning right. The right-wing party was going to win. All over Europe, right-wing parties were going to win. Like this was everywhere. It was, you know, people were leaning right. Donald Trump wins, starts playing with the economy.
He's playing right.
Yeah. I'm just saying trap. What kind of friendship?
No,
is trap?
it's not a trap.
So anyway, but no. But now, so everyone, and then what happened was people went, actually, wait, we don't want that. We don't want that, so we're not going to vote that way. And then Canada flipped the other way, right? So the Liberal Party won, and then around the world this started happening in other places. I think Australia had a similar outcome. So aren't you worried that if everyone votes at the same time, everything can go wrong at the same time?
So you're 100% correct. That would,
Hey, can you
or that does have a potential to happen, right? But that's actually not a bad thing. That's a good thing. In fact, it's one of the mitigating factors of disaster. Because the greatest risk is inequality. Some of the greatest countries actually fail because they do so well, while other countries are doing so poorly that people flock to these great countries. And these countries get burdened. Healthcare, everything really starts to fail because everybody's going to fail. If we all failing, nobody's going to leave their country.
Every dome must be a water, right?
Yeah.
Het is niks zo vlak.
If the
Kom bij
economy
je, het is zo
is
vlak.
taking everywhere.
Hij is zo vlak bij fenomen. Hij is zo, dat is andere ding. Dat is zo.
Where we go? Let's
Maar we moeten andere, nou ja, zijn we dus.
Kijk maar,
Hoeveel hadden ze zo?
Hij zit in de gang aan, bro. Ja, moet ik maar.
Wel zo nooit hebben we nooit.
Ik zeg ja, kunnen we het doen.
Yes. South Africans really have changed the definition of refugees because before this, refugees were only went to another country because like they had to and they had no life.
And their bags don't have wheels. Our refugees, they were
Yes. Normally refugees have baggage, not luggage. This is very different. So yes, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think people will travel for weather. But I do think Adelaide is right about places still being better than other places.
Yeah, so places would inherently be better than others.
But you want to tank it all at once, or win all at once?
Well, the idea is not to tank anything. The idea is actually to progress all at once. Because, now, here's my idea of the leadership, right?
Okay, go.
It's essentially the Avengers of each region. Let's speak about Africa, maybe, to start off with. When you look at the liberation of Africa from colonialism, obviously it gets staggering, but majority of the good times happened between 1955 to like maybe 1965, right?
Is it the good times for Africans or for the colonial powers?
No, for Africans.
Okay.
So most African,
Okay,
100%.
okay, cool.
But if you look at the people that were at the helm of leadership at the time, you had the Kwame Nkrumahs, for example, in Ghana, you had Julius Nyerere in Tanzania, you had Kenneth Kaunda in Zambia, you had all those people, I mean, Tambo even, who was in South Africa but voted for the ANC stationed in South, right? You need people to think in a similar fashion and then to help each other along the way, like, yo man, let's do this, let's do that. Because it doesn't help for a Trevor to be like, okay, I'm holding down South Africa, things are maybe going okay here, and then Anele is busy messing things up in Kenya.
But how do you know that everything is going to stabilize at the same time as well? Because each different region is going to come against different resistance.
You're 100%. It won't stabilize at the same time. But you work towards the goal at the same time.
I do think there is some merit to this because if you think about every conflict and every negotiation that happens around the world, many of them are thrown off by a regime change at the wrong time, right? So Israel-Palestine is a good example. some of the most progress they ever made was thrown off by an Israeli election. Like all of a sudden, there was a new leader who was like, actually, everything you were agreeing to, I don't care about it, and we're starting again. Trump is a great example. As America was, Joe Biden was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing it. And then even the other way, by the way. When Joe Biden came at Trump, it throws everything off.
But what's to say that it doesn't matter about the timing that we all get a new leader at the same time. Maybe I come in and I don't agree with what has been happening in this.
But what Caesar's saying is that you don't agree. But Caesar's saying you don't agree at the same time at least.
Yeah.
We all
and also we just have elections. It's not to say that just because there are elections we're going to change. We may have elections and decide to keep in Anel for another 5 years or however long the term is, right? Also, your people get to decide. So the majority wins, but winner takes all. Like the electoral college, right? So even if you win by 51%, now you've got to be a dictator. The other 49 people.
Whoa, this is what you're adding to your thing.
Yeah.
That I agree with.
Wow. Yeah.
Now you've got my attention.
So if you win by 51%,
yeah.
Now everybody's got to roll with you. There's none of this every time you got to put this thing to a referendum. You lost, bro. So now take your L, swallow these stones, let's go.
Sometimes, and I think this is South Africa at times, that we just do need a little bit of a dictatorship. Just a little one. Not a big one. Not a big one.
Exactly that way.
Not a big one. A little one.
Exactly. You'd be like, come on, Trevor, just a little dictatorship. Come on, just a tip.
So you are all in on an election on one day, and the winners take it all?
Yes.
I just want to throw one thing here, just to confirm before I vote on your measure. Do the winners in your system have the right to say that there's no more elections going forward?
No.
Okay.
No.
What's the main thing that you think this will fix, though?
The progress will move a lot quicker, and it will fix the idea of progress. Well, not necessarily progress, but the timing issue. A lot of what we have is also just the timing issue, which you've already mentioned.
Countries starting at a different time, wrong time.
100%.
Yeah. We don't get to start negotiations at the same time.
And also, here's one very important factor that people don't consider. Each era requires a different type of leadership.
But then who decides that it is now time for a different type of leadership?
So I can only give you the opportunity. The people that you. So what would happen is, on aggregate, the people will elect the people that they think they need the most. Then I'll say, okay, this country has decided, this country can go left, that country can go right, but they're all going to go wherever they need to go at that time.
I'm not, when you started, I was a solid no, but you were...
I'm making
I'm
sense.
gonna lie.
The sense is the
Wel,
one thing you always
bier gedronken, jongens, je stopt er niet
The
van.
thing I worry most about
Ja,
is
Robo.
feasibility.
Yo,
But
met
sense,
bro.
yes.
No, it's not easy.
You're the first person who's ever argued against it. So, let's go.
Maak je die hele op op?
So you look at
Maak je die hele op op?
Yes. Basically, there are certain models that help us determine what human behavior is like to tell us, right? So I'll use the stag theory for one. Us three decide that we're going to go hunting. And we can either go hunting for a stag, if we get a stag, we are all going to eat.
Yeah.
So much so that we're going to be full and there's going to be meat left over. But the tools for us to hunt a stag are very particular tools. When we leave the house, we need to decide.
Take a stag tool.
Yeah. Or we can all go hunt for rabbits. Now, all three of us need to contribute to be able to get the stag. But if you want to go hunt a rabbit, you can do it by yourself.
And you eat it by yourself.
Yeah. You almost guarantee that you will catch a rabbit if you go hunt for a rabbit.
Okay.
But a rabbit will just feed you for maybe half a day. Then you go catch another rabbit.
Yeah.
But if we decide to get a stag and we catch a stag, wow, we're going to be chilling.
It's bountiful.
Yes.
And so what does game theory suggest?
Now, we all start from different houses. And we can't communicate which tools we will take. We agreed here that we're going to go hunt for a stag.
Yeah.
Then you go sleep. Oh, why are you sleeping? Trevor goes, I don't know if Caesar's really going to hunt for a stag with me. Because if I just go and hunt for a rabbit, I'm guaranteed I'm going to do. However, if I think we're hunting for a stag and Caesar doesn't play with me, we're all going to start. Humans, because they act in their own best interest, will most likely all go for a rabbit.
But is that true though? Is that society? Yeah. If you think about it, right? Think of tribes, think of cultures, think of everything. That goes against game theory in a way.
We're hopeful. So, again, between us three, you may take it for a given that we all go hunt for a stag.
Yeah.
But obviously there's emotions involved with us, we're all friends. If I say I'm going to bring another guy, we don't know. He's a part of us now.
Now there's a problem.
You see?
Yes.
Because it's a trust thing.
It is a trust thing.
Yeah.
It's a
But
trust
it's not
thing.
a-
That's how society
Okay,
works.
okay, but now,
Trust
so now,
yourself.
yeah, but now let's bring it back to, so why do you think that'll hurt your voting system?
Because inevitably it means that this system will break down at some point.
And what do you think will break down?
I, as the monarch, may give an instruction, and these prime ministers or presidents may go against my instruction.
No, you
They may will.
You're thinking too hard.
No, but they may go, well, actually,
No,
just
no, you rule the world.
Look at
You can't doubt yourself, bro.
Look at royal.
No, I'm not doubting myself. I'm doubting you, actually. And it is not convinced yet.
I'm absolutely not convinced. You are starting to make sense now about humans acting in self-interest.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't think the theory would work. It's because sooner or later, people like power. No one's going to want to let go of power regardless of what other countries are doing. And actually, that's when we will start fighting with other countries. That's how world wars happen, because we just start fighting with other countries because we don't agree on how we should all be doing things.
So tell me, how do you think you can work with this? Because
I
I'm also
can't
another
work
way
with
to
it.
mitigate this idea.
I can't work with it. It doesn't work at all.
Okay, just to say, it doesn't work at all. Come
No,
on.
it doesn't work.
No, but wait.
The broadcaster in me is like, CNN can't keep up with all these elections at the same time, Steve.
But that's a good thing.
What do you mean that's a good thing?
We don't care about the broadcasters. This is about democracy. Well, like, I can't believe that you literally just went, wait.
And if anything,
I know that the world is at stake, but guys, what about CNN?
Yes.
You literally brought CNN. You brought CNN up. And we're talking about the fate of the world.
Yes, because somebody has to report on it, guys.
No, why?
Because somebody has to know what's happening.
Why?
How are these countries?
Oh,
going
let
to
me get it, let me get it.
No, but
You know who covered these elections? They'll be covered locally.
Yes.
By who? By
By the 947 of the world.
No, but guys, also, we are people.
You have to know what's happening in the other countries, Steve.
No, we don't actually. You can just text
This
each other.
is the beauty of the system. Every country takes care of its own.
You know what Caesar is doing?
Yes, but how would you know if the other countries stick to the rules?
So, Anele, can I tell you what Caesar is doing? As you both know, I'm a big fan of football, as Americans say, soccer. And on the final day of the Premier League in England, a lot of leagues do this around the world. What they started doing is they started saying that every game on the final day is played at the exact same time. So every other week, games are staggered so that you can watch all the games and you can see who won, who lost, and then you play the next game. But what they realized at some point was, on the final day, there are teams who will play a certain way because they already know a result has gone in a direction that suits them.
Se happen over maar doe ook
Your life demands yes for well-being plus more.
Kom eens zo aan hoor.
Yes, your life demands.
Oké, dit is wel goed bevorming. Dus kijk maar.
Hoe zit
Dat is mezelf.
Scrolling
Heel goed bevorming.
product inspiration.
Denk het zo goed bevorming.
Live.
This is a tool called Oxio. It's the world's first AI sourcing and end-to-end e-commerce platform.
Type in your business idea and search.
Dan is even met aanspeelt man, vaar ook zien. Maar nou sometimes op de tweede live krijg ik 100 mensen op één tijd zomaar. Maar nou mijn beste was geweest van